Alright, welcome back to Don't Think, Just Charge. I'm Dave, he's Harvey, and today we're covering your favourite space bugs. It's the Alien Hives. So the Alien Hives, the big bad bugs of the Sirius sector. A very popular army in one-page rules, and an army with an awesome miniatures range. Even better is the rules that is behind the minis, which we're going to go through now for your viewing pleasure. We're going to just get straight into it. Right the way at the top, big thing to note is that there is no army-wide rule for Alien Hives. They don't have a single rule that is on every single unit. Instead, every single unit is just bloody excellent. They don't need one, really. As another little asterisk to put on this, in our last video, if you haven't checked it out, we went through all of the upcoming changes to armies that were currently in the draft as of the beginning of August 2025 in the big change that's coming in September. Now, whilst those special rules that we talked about may change, the core units we understand are not going to be changing. So this review, stay here, everything's good. Everything we're going to talk about is going to apply still when the next army release comes out, and we'll be doing a bit more of an update then, so merge it all together. Nice and easy. Starting off with the way things are currently, that might change is the spells. Now the spells, Harvey, you and I think is probably one of the weakest points about the Alien Hives roster and book in general. Talk us through the spells in your mind.
Yeah, so I mean we see a couple of the usual suspects here when it comes to bad spells. Starting off at the very top, we've got Overwhelm. So we've talked about this at length. 3 hits at AP4 is an interesting enough spell because what it will do is it will kill heroes who are embedded in units, but it just takes 1/6 to mess that up.
Yeah.
And that means you can get really kind of shafted by this. You're already spending 3 points on this. If you're boosting it at all, then even more so. And if it goes off, then great. But if it doesn't, then it can be a little bit limp. So it's not really the damage spell we like to see. There are much more devastating damage spells in the game. So one that we're happy to miss out on really when it comes to spell lists.
Yeah, it's not why we're in spellcasters for Alien Hives, really. Next down, we've got Infused Life. Target 3 friendly units within 12 inches, get regeneration the next time they take wounds. It's something we've spoken about in other lists, and in Alien Hives, we really don't love it too much here at a level 3 spell.
No, I think I like it as a spell. Like, don't get me wrong, I think this is a good spell to have in a list. I think this is not worth taking the list for exclusively. It's a really nice backup spell to have. It's a spell that you want to throw out when you can't throw out your aggressive spells.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really nice spell to see when you have Caster 4, which Alien Hives don't have, because obviously you're going to waste caster points if you don't have something to spend it on. But most of the time, I think with Alien Hives, I mean, I'm not really taking spellcasters anyway. I don't think the spellcasting list is strong enough. But if you were going to take it, then you're basically taking it for this, which I don't think is a terrible waste, but I think there are better things to be done with your points.
Yeah, the nice thing about casters, and we'll come into this, casters in Alien Hives is that it's kind of a secondary, and this, rather than you take it for caster. Like we've spoken about in other armies where you take a hero because it's cheap and you get caster 3, so you get a great list. Here it's like you take a great unit and then you can bolt caster onto it, or you get caster as almost a kick on the side. So it's a bit of a different approach. It's a different approach, and we'll come into this in the heroes, to when you take heroes in Alien Hives anyway. So it's very much embodied by the fact that these 2 level 3 spells as they currently stand just aren't excellent. But the rest of the list is, I think, pretty good. So at level 2, we've got Shriek. Target 2 enemy units within 12 inches, take 4 hits each.
Yeah, this is a worse version of the 6 hits one. Obviously, it is cheaper, therefore you're going to get it off more often. But I think I prefer the 6 hits because it can wipe out units, and 4 hits will never do that.
Yeah.
Which is a kind of a shame. It's still a really good spell. It can still absolutely devastate 2 units. But I think it loses quite a lot when it takes that step down compared to other things.
It's an interesting
like 12
break
hits
point.
going down to 8. Yeah, 12 hits going down to 8 is fine, but 6 hits going down to 4, it starts to feel a bit bad. Now, obviously, this is pretty good at killing like flamer units kind of thing, so it's still very effective against that. But I'm not wow on it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point that I don't think I thought about too much. Is that break point between 4 and 6 being 5, which is where you'll see the size of most units, or many units certainly. And then at the same time, the tough 3 bandings, tough 6, 6 hits, tough 3 and 4 hits, doesn't really marry up. So it's an interesting breakpoint that really does articulate quite well why this isn't as exciting as the other big level 2 spell that we see, which is 1 unit takes 8 hits, because that 4 hits is just a little bit worse. Moving on to the other one, which can be quite nice in the right build of Alien Hives, we've got Animate Flora. Target 2 friendly units within 12 get flying the next time they move.
So we talked about this a little bit in the Orc review. They have a similar thing. I think is it flying? I think they get. The kind of stance on this is like, how often am I using this in a strategy where if it doesn't go off, then the strategy fails?
That's it.
And I think the answer is quite frequently. There are definitely use cases for this, right? Like, let's say, okay, well, I can charge this guy, but if I get the spell off, then I can charge this guy instead, you know. Flying lets you fly over the top of units, so maybe it lets you get onto points in a way you couldn't do originally. So it is a nice thing to have in your toolbox. But I find with these kind of spells, you will often go, 10 games in a row without ever casting this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And that doesn't necessarily make it bad, because obviously you get access to all 6 spells. It's not like you're picking them. But it's just not exciting to see. I'd much rather see something that affects the opponent. We talk about it quite a lot, but minuses to movement can really screw up your opponent's game and give you outs that you didn't have before. Whereas this kind of stuff is much harder to give you outs with, because it's like you have to kind of play for it, whereas your opponent has to play against the spells going off, right? Yeah, like, so if your spells don't go off, your opponent still has to have played around it. Whereas this, they don't really have to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a different point. If you're staging your whole strategy around this going off, spellcasting is so fickle in OPR anyway, you can really be screwed. Whereas that enemy effect versus my own unit's effect thing, the strategic fallout of that is significantly different. So Animate Flora, as it is with the Orcs, it's not excellent to see. The level 1 spells, let's see some good things. Oh, go on, sorry.
Sorry, I think it's worth pointing out that the reason why the big difference between friendly and enemy units is relevant is because the first thing that happens after you finish activating is your opponent activates, which means you can get value straight away. Whereas if you buff an allied unit, the first thing that happens after you stop activating is they activate, and then they can choose to completely crush the thing you've just buffed. So you're kind of like showing your hand in a way that debuffing doesn't do. So I think that's kind of relevant. But yeah, anyway, on to the first one as well.
Alright, the level 1 spells. Start with the damage one, quite a nice one. Target enemy unit within 12 takes 1 hit with AP 2 and Deadly 3. I really like seeing this actually on a level 1 spell.
Yeah, this is not bad. There's plenty of defense 4, tough 3 units kicking around in the game, especially in the Alien Hives list, surprisingly enough. But yeah, this is a nice thing to it. It threatens to just... It's not going to threaten big tanks in the same way. It's just 50-50 there. But yeah, I think it's a nice little cantrip to have.
Yeah, nice way of describing it as well. Having the level 1 spells as cantrips. Good D&D bring in there. I like that. And probably the best spell in the Alien Hives list now is Terror. Target 2 enemy units within 18 inches get -1 to their next morale test roll.
Yeah, this is the kind of chaff morale destroyer spell, really, and you can use it on slightly tougher to move stuff, but I think it's nice just really nailing down the fact that things are going to fail their morales when you charge them, because you will be charging in melee as well. So this is actually like increasing the chance they flee off the battlefield, which is really relevant when you're facing like chaff stacks that have just got lots of wounds and perhaps your guys can't quite break them. Once again, another nice spell just to see in a list. But yeah, overall though, the spell list, it's just not that appealing, I don't think. I think that Alien Hives has got a lot of things going for it, and I don't think it needs to be indexing massively into spellcasting on top of that.
Yeah.
Anytime I've ever seen the spell list being used, I've never really gone like, whoa, that's won the game.
Yeah.
It's always been like, like it's kind of doing things and it's fine, and like you can get by with like Shriek, Psychic Blast, Terror spam and do that stuff. But yeah, I just think that for the points cost, you're probably better off just spending it on more deadly weapons instead.
Reasonable, yeah. Well, let's get into why someone might take a caster in Alien Hives as we go through the main units. Straight to the top, we've got the Hive Lord. Now, I think you and I actually take a bit of a different view on this one. I really like the Hive Lord. I think that I'd usually encourage trying to take at least one. I had one army list once where I didn't, but that's because you challenged me not to bring my usual units.
Yeah.
So let's go through it. 360 points. It's a lot of points for a hero model. What does it get you? Quality 3, Def 2. Excellent already. It's a tough 12 hero. It's fearless. It causes fear 2. Now, this is just a monster. So actually the hero tag is a nerf to its power really here, because it just means that it fills up a valuable hero slot. You can't put it in units because it's tough 12, so it really has to shine, and in my view it does. Now, when we're going through Alien Hives, a really important unique difference is that whilst other armies have got a lot of auras in them, the Alien Hives really don't. Auras, for a more broad description of them, are those effects on heroes that we really value, which is this model and its unit get. This model and its unit get furious. For example, give you one that you see, and if you want to have a really good example of these and why they're excellent, go and check out Human Defense Force. Orcs are also quite good. Go see those videos. You don't get that in Alien Hives. But what you get on the Hive Lord is a really unique monster. This is a monster that comes in already packing a punch. At 360 points, it's very lean. It has 4 heavy razor claws, which are 3 attacks each AP 1, and a stomp attack. So this thing's already rocking out with 16 attacks at AP 1 on quality 3. Fear 2, in combat, it is deadly. We'll talk about some of the weapon upgrades, but this is the thing that makes it so unique. It has got a couple of different instances of upgrade with, outside of the weapons. The first one is upgrade with any of Brood Leader, which gives pheromones. This is advanced tactics, which is so powerful. And you can have this Spell Eater effect. It gets an additional 6-up save, and against spells it's a 2-up instead. You can have both of those in there. And then we've got another upgrade with any at the bottom, which is regeneration, so another save, Caster 3, which we've spoken about, and ambush and flying for 60 points. You can just load things onto this guy, and then he's really, really bulky, very expensive, but he does a lot. The loadout that I like to use really is Caster 3, ambush and flying. I don't take pheromones because I'm taking ambush, and you lose a round of it effectively whilst you're ambushing, so it's not a full value thing. And then I also like to replace the A3 AP1's heavy razor claws with this slashing blade. A3 AP1 rending. You could also do the AP4 though. I just think you get a very nice versatile hero monster here, but you're not so hot on it, Harvey.
So the Hive Lord is basically your premium monster. I think that kitting it out like massively with all this extra stuff, I think actually I'm not a massive fan of it. I think you're kind of putting too many points on something.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, if you go that route of giving it flying and caster, then it's already like 500 points, and then the weapons on top of that, and like, it's really good, right? It's quality 3, it's def 2, it's got fear 2, it's got fearless, right? Like it's rocking loads of really, really good stuff. But I think that what it does is, I think it struggles to accrue that value back, because without caster it can't affect more than one unit at a turn because it is a melee unit, and if you're taking ambush, then it's only coming in round 2 and it's not doing objective stuff. So I don't hate it as a piece. I think it's very good, right? It's got a great stat line.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe making it this huge centerpiece, for me at least, is a mistake. Because to be honest, I think you could get by just like loading it up with just some AP and just like maybe throwing pheromones on it, right? So then it has this like extra use. So it's not just this like single like big guy in the middle of your force. Like you could literally just take like 2 serrated blades and pheromones. It comes to like 445 points then, and then it's going to be able to kill basically anything big that tries to threaten it, and it does things to other units at the same time. And you're not having this like one big unit that's like you're trying to make a massive centerpiece out, and then you've saved yourself maybe 100 points there that you can spend other places.
Yeah.
But in terms of like big stumpy guys, this is a premium big stumpy guy. He's got like all the things you want to see. If he had fast, then you'd be even happier. But I think the flying route is also good.
Yeah. There's good ways of doing it, but that's a really good point that because of that ambush thing, he needs to be coming in and really punching up every single round. He's only there 3/4 of the time, and so... but yeah, it's a good piece, very versatile. I'm not going to go through all of the weapons. Go and have a look at those.
So the one thing to also pick up on about the Hive Lord, which I think is unfortunate, is that the replace 2x heavy razor claws section. So that's just different from the replace any heavy razor claws in that you can only do it once. So you could try and make, like, it'd be really cool if you could make this like a big shooting thing. If you could just throw on, I don't know, like 4 heavy smashing clubs or whatever, right? And you have that big blast reliable AP2 instead. But you can't. You can only do it once. And I think for that reason, yeah, the range stuff kind of suffers with that because you're really hybridizing this guy and he's very expensive if you go down that route.
Yeah, he is.
And these kind of like fun melee weapon upgrades, I think they're okay to take. I think obviously like we like blast, we like AP2, right? So that's quite an efficient little upgrade.
Yeah.
But I'm not going completely crazy for them. I think, like you said, most of the time you probably just go slashing blades or serrated blades because they're a lot more just like apply it to the wound kind of thing, right? Like you just like push it forwards. You don't need to like overcomplicate it by trying to figure out if these upgrades are worth it.
Yeah. It's something that I actually hadn't realised because I've never really done this, which is that it's only a one-time do thing. I'm firmly in the camp of slashing blades. Serrated blades obviously very good, but that 15 point per weapon hike has always put me off of it. I've never really tried much outside of that, and I have tried the razor whips, which are very funny, but then you end up unable to really deal with AP or high armored things. But that's such a shame for such a big sexy piece. I would never call for many improvements to Alien Hives. I think they're excellent, but that would be one that could be more fun, just having a 12-shot AP2 heavy Ravager cannon double gun dude going around. But it's alright. Alien Hives fans at home, don't worry, there are many other options for you, and let's get into some of them. Hive Lord, pretty damn good. Good use for it. You're in the view, don't go too hard on it.
Yep.
Synapse Tyrant, a new hero, relatively new that is, for the Alien Hives, only about a year-ish old. This is 180 points for a 4/4. This is a built-in caster 3 hero. It is a tough 6 one, so it can go in units, and it's got stealth. Its weapon loadout, we've got 3 AP nothing melee attacks, but that's not why we're bringing it. It's got a 9-inch A2 AP1 blast 3 reliable gun. So 9-inch A2 heavy flamer. Pretty nice to start things out. Obviously it's a caster, we've already discussed the caster point of it. Similarly, we've got 2 loads of upgrade with any. We've got the pheromones and the psi barrier regeneration. We have 2 unique things to this. First, we've got Regenerator. Once per this unit's activation, pick a friendly unit within 12, and it gets +1 to regeneration rolls the next time it takes wounds. That means that your regen hits are coming off on a 4+, which can be quite nice. And then my favourite thing about it, for a 5-point upgrade, you just double the range on your gun. It becomes an 18-inch heavy flamer. I have ran the Synapse Tyrant. Oh yes, of course, no reliable. The thing I miss every time. It's every time I miss that.
I think it is still worthwhile upgrade though.
Yes, it is.
You will miss more, but like obviously 18 inches is a lot further than 9 inches, and you're not getting in charge range because this guy does really suffer when he gets a bit closer. Very terrifying piece though, right? Like it really does mess you up with the blast. But
the first time I took this actually. It was at an event in Bristol, and I played against, shout out to our friend Sam, War Demons player, and I think I moved my guys up. I played quite cagey. I had this in a unit of the Synapse Beasts that we'll get to later. Moved them up, trying to keep them safe, ambushed in his big guy and just charged it in a single turn, and because it was a 4-up morale check with no morale mitigation, they just left the board. So you're quite right, it is very squishy.
Yeah, I think apart from that, like this is obviously caster. Tough 6 is quite nice. You often see this embedded in a unit of Synapse Beasts for that extra like super caster combo thing. I think if you're doing that, then you are doing the whole regeneration thing. I think you're trying to throw out as much regeneration on your army as possible, which I think is still a good strategy. But once again, it's kind of like a I just always prefer aggression over this kind of playstyle where you're like doing big buffing
Best
playstyle.
defense is a
like,
good offense, right?
Yeah, like they have so much. They have access to so many good weapons in this list. There's so much AP4. There's so much AP1 rending that you could probably just jam more of that and push your opponent in instead of playing around with little tricksy things like this. The thing that Alien Hives have going for them is that basically all their units are as streamlined as you could possibly want. You very rarely see a keyword on an Alien Hives unit that you don't like, or a stat line that you don't like. So yeah.
Yeah. Synapse Tyrant, I have to say, I enjoyed using it, but if I were going full gung-ho, I probably wouldn't bring it for the reasons we've just discussed. Mostly as well, it's this quality 4 and no morale mitigation. It's worth noting as well, it does do well when embedded in a unit of the spell buffing ones. What are they called? Psycho-Grunts. But we'll come on to those in a moment. Into some more of these lower toughness heroes. First up, we've got the Snatcher Lord. It's our friend Adam, the HDF guardsman here.
Hey.
We love him. No upgrades available. This guy is just as he comes, and a good leader sometimes, I think, for the Soul Snatchers that you get in this list. 125 points. What does that get you? A quality 3 defense 4 up unit, which we like seeing. We like when quality exceeds defense. It means it's going to be good value. It's a caster 2, fast. It's got scout. It's got strider. It's tough 3, and it comes with 4 attacks at AP 1. So it's got great keywords. Caster 2 is nice, and it's going to be quite cheap, I think, on this list. And you can see that in the 125 point model. It's got fast scout. We like all of these things. And then by having 4 attacks on a tough 3 model, we know its damage output is maximized.
Yeah, overall, I like this piece. I think it goes well with a unit of Snatchers, just as a one-off, because I think having a threatening scouting unit can do you a lot early on in the game. And I also think that this guy uses Terror really well. Terror and Psychic Blast are obviously the spells you're probably going to be casting with him. And you could even get like caster 1 in this Snatcher unit. So it lets you just be like, hey, I'm just going to threaten everything on your front line, and you need to deploy backwards because a unit of these plus Snatchers can probably mess up a unit. So like, don't deploy something on its own because I will kill it with this. And that forces your opponent into a lot of stuff before you've even started placing stuff, right? Like, you're playing the mind games before you've even started, right?
Absolutely.
And forcing them to deploy stuff together, and then maybe just ignoring it, and then having them, they've then over-indexed into one side of the board, which you can then respond with swarms or something instead, means that like there's a whole another level of game that is introduced by just having a threatening scout unit in your list. So I like this guy. I like him as a one-off, and I like him inside the Snatchers. But yeah, I mean, you could do like a big scout playstyle with Alien Hives. There are a couple of units that get scout, but I think that perhaps that's just trying too hard, I think, to make scout work.
Yeah, it is. Use it sparingly, use it effectively, and use it wisely, and that's where you'll get it. We've said it before about scout. You don't have to move up the full 12 inches. You don't have to be charging round 1. But if you want to, the Snatcher Lord and a unit of Snatchers does it very well. Fast, strider, excellent. So Snatcher Lord, quite a nice little piece to have when you want to go that way. Then we've got our 2 warrior heroes here. We have the Prime Warrior and the Veteran Warrior. Some minor differences, I think it is, between them. We'll start with the Prime Warrior. He is a 4/4. He's tough 6. He's 95 points, and he is fearless. So all of these things make a very nice monster. He comes with 2 heavy razor claws, which reach 3 attacks AP 1. So he has 6 attacks AP 1. Again, like we've seen with the other heroes that have upgrades, we've got Pheromones and Psy Barrier, we have Regeneration, Ambush and Flying, and then you can replace his weapons to either make him a shooty version, where you can replace annoyingly only 1 of the heavy razor claws, and you can make him a bit more of a melee beast. You can replace any heavy razor claws with some upgrades. We see the similar things though that we like: slashing blades, serrated blades for high AP.
I think this guy is he's in the bin. He's the worst he's the worst Alien Hives hero, I think. He's tough 6, which we've spoken about before, about how you have these weird like tough 6 heroes that you don't really want to embed because it kind of makes them weaker in a way. Except this guy offers nothing really aggressively. He's only a 4/4. He's only got 6 attacks. He can never get more than 6 attacks. Like, he's not giving his morale to the unit he's in, most likely, because he kind of fits in units weirdly. Because he's like got things that some units have and other things don't, right? Like, you can put him in a unit of whatever the kind. I guess he would lead the Hive Guardians, I guess. But he doesn't really fit in those either. So yeah, I just think this guy is a leave it at home. The Veteran Warrior does everything he wants to do, and 45 points less. And yes, you don't get as much damage, and yes, you don't get as much toughness, but I mean, are you taking him for that? I don't really know. I think you're most likely taking these guys as pheromone sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, this Veteran Warrior is the way to do that.
Yeah, so I'm afraid Prime Warrior in the bin. Veteran Warrior, though, as Harvey's already mentioned, he's 50 points, he's tough 3. Everything else is pretty much the same. The weapons are reduced, so here we actually go over that 100% mark. We've got 4 attacks AP, 1 in the form of 2 heavy razor claws, and similar source of upgrades: pheromone, side barrier, regeneration, ambush and flying. The weapons can be upgraded to make him better in melee. You can give him 1 gun, not 2. He's got this interesting thing at the bottom where you can replace both of the heavy razor claws to get AP2 Deadly 3 or AP2 Blast 3, and then you get an A1 AP1 attack as well. I've never wanted to do that. The cute thing that you can do with a Veteran Warrior is, because he's the cheapest, well, he is the cheapest, he's the cheap Alien Hives hero, you can give him pheromones, ambush and flying, and then we're dealing with a 105 point unit that has ambush that you could just ping into the back lines and have somewhere being annoying. When you activate him, it can be a burner. You can use pheromones then very effectively. It's just to reposition your units, but it's still 100 points, so I'm not massively keen on it.
No. So, I mean, we mentioned at the start, but like, Alien Hives heroes aren't really much to write home about. The Hive Lord isn't really a hero; it's a premium monster. And I'd say most of the time the hero tag is basically irrelevant on it, because yes, it does limit how many you can have, but what else are we taking that's going to cap out on heroes?
Exactly.
Right? Like, I don't see us taking 3 Hive Lords and then 1 Snatcher Lord and being like, oh, I wish I could fit this Veteran Warrior on my list.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's kind of like a nonsense, really, even being in the hero section.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the heroes just, yeah, they don't really do what heroes do in general. Yeah, so I'm very happy to basically leave the whole hero roster at home.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
1 Hive Lord, maybe 1 Snatcher Lord.
Yeah, it's when I've been building my lists for a competitive mindset with Alien Hives, I way more go into the units, and then I might come back and go, oh, actually, you know what, let's take a Hive Lord, because an ambushing monster with caster could be something nice as an extra threat, an extra way of attacking my enemy. But I'm so rarely going, I'm doing this to have the Hive Lord or the Veteran Warrior. It's because they don't have those auras that I'm not doing it. But really, we've gone over, I think now, the 2 weakest parts of the Alien Hives list: the spells and the heroes. The rest of the list makes up for it in droves. And so let's move on now to taking a look at our core units. Let's start out our core units by looking at the Grunts. 3 excellent units, quite frankly. Let's start with the Assault Grunts. 110 points, you get 10 models. They are 5/5s, they are fast Strider, and each one comes with a base loadout of 2 attacks AP, nothing. The units as well follow a similar pattern in the Grunts, where you can upgrade them by replacing up to 2 blah blahs to get an upgrade, which is nice. And then you can give them bonuses on top of that, and then you get the real icing on the cake, which is giving them no retreat, which is where I'm going to start by talking about the Grunts. All 3 sets of Grunts have access to Undead. It's a very contentious rule. We aren't actually going to end up doing an Undead video because it's not going to be an army-wide rule for very much longer. But this is where it's incredibly good, because you take a cheap unit of chaff. This thing isn't here. This unit of 5/5s isn't on the board to wipe out enemy units. Don't get me wrong, my Assault Grunts with Furious have done that in the past, but they're there to have no retreat. They're there to be around till the end of the game. It almost makes talking about the rest of the things a little bit superfluous, really, because we've got no retreat as an optional upgrade for your Grunts.
Yeah, I think the no retreat thing here, oftentimes when you're playing with a unit of Assault Grunts and they have no retreat, they will just die, right? Like, don't get me wrong, right? They will just die, because they are only 130 points, and that will feel bad, and you'll be like, well, this is not a very good unit. but it's 130 points. It has undead. If your opponent targets it early, they can wipe it out. If they don't target it until late, then they might not get a chance. They have fast and strider, so if they're reduced to one model, they can just like 16-inch away from you through difficult terrain, through line of sight blockers, right? They're on 25 mil bases. They're tiny little guys. They can really, really annoy you later on in the game. And you can play them like that the whole game if you want to, right? You don't need to be aggressive with these guys at all.
Yeah.
But know that they will beat out things that are meant to capture objectives in the same way, right? Like if someone puts Swarm somewhere, these guys will beat them out in combat, right? They have 2 attacks each, they're quality 5. Yeah, so... And you can build them more aggressively. You can go Furious and like 2 Serrated Claws or whatever, which isn't a massive amount more points. And then all of a sudden you have this unit that you're probably still playing in the same style, but they can also threaten the APC that's trying to capture that object.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is just like, yeah, it's a perfect example of a unit that has as little as it possibly could, keeping all the good bits, right?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing bad here about this unit. The only way it could be better is if it was defense 6.
Yeah.
It's just got all the good bits you want to see.
If this unit had no upgrades, it would still be really good.
Yeah, it's just a cheap big stack of things with fast and strider.
Exactly. Keeping going on the theme, Shooter-Grunts. Now, again, 5/5s, 110 points, you get 10 of them. These ones don't have fast, they just have strider. Really still incredible. And they each come with A1 in melee, but they also come with a 6-inch A2 AP1 gun. So that's base unit at 6 inches is shooting 20 shots with AP1. Really nice. You can replace all of those guns with either A2 AP nothing at 12 inches, and that's 15 points, or you can replace them all with an 18-inch A2 AP nothing for 40 points. I love the A2 12-inch one. I think that's just really good and efficient. But then when you come into replacing the guns, it gets even more exciting because you've got this Bioflamer, which we'll talk about more in the Winged Grunts, but it's 6-inch, A1, Blast 3 reliable for 5 points an upgrade. It's huge in Shooter-Grunts because you're taking a quality 5 shot down to a quality 2 shot.
Yeah, it's a very, very cheap upgrade. I mean, the extra hit most of the time accounts to the AP1 as well. So yeah, that's a really, really good upgrade. I think that Shooter-Grunts for me are unfortunately outshined by Winged Grunts.
They really are, yeah.
I think they're a good unit. I think that like if they're in any other list, you'd be like, oh, brilliant, yeah, like this is some nice stuff. But I think them having just like no reliable way of getting up the board in the same way. They're not as threatening as Assault Grunts are.
Yeah.
Because Assault Grunts can run into things and blow them up. And make them melee checks, right? And especially if you're taking the extra AP on them, they do good stuff there. So yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of these guys as the other guys. I think, you're just better off going with Winged Grunts, which we'll cover now.
It's insane that we're saying this, because if it was any other army, this would be premium chaff, like really good army. But in the context of Alien Hives, let's go on to what beats them here. It's the Winged Grunts. 130 points, 10 models, 5/5s. These ones have ambush and flying as their base loadout. The exact same as the Shooter-Grunts, they've got this 6-inch A2 AP1. But in the context of the two units and how they work together, this is so much better, because you can ambush a new unit of Winged Grunts 9 inches away from an enemy unit, move them 6 inches, and then be in range immediately to drop this 20-shot bomb. Then here especially, you upgrade the Bioflamer. With the Winged Grunts, I actually don't care to upgrade them to this 12-inch A2 AP2. I like to just leave them at 6 inches, give them the Bioflamer, and give them no retreat. That unit is just excellent. Beautiful unit. I nearly always want to take one.
Yeah, this is... ambush on chaff is quite good, because it means that your chaff can be in the part of the board you need it to be in, and you don't always know what that's going to be at the time of deployment. Because sometimes you're literally like, oh, okay, like I need to keep deploying things in the middle here because my opponent's mostly deploying things there, and maybe I want some chaff over on the left later on, or maybe he'll end up putting some over there that I need to respond to. So just having it like held back is quite nice. It also gives them basically immunity. like Alien Hives has got quite a lot. If you're going like a monster playstyle, it's got a lot of depth too. So these guys are an obvious target if you're looking for something to shoot that's like not got a lot of AP. But obviously these guys are off the board, so they don't really suffer from
you've got that innate protection aspect, which on
Yeah.
other units like the Hive Lord, you don't mind about. He's already a Def 2 Tough 12 model, but these guys being Def 5, they will crumble when you hit them. So it's nice just to give them one round of complete immunity, which is so good. So yeah, Winged Grunts, mwah, chef's kiss, another beautiful unit. Love seeing them. Those are the 3 core grunts. You do have another unit of grunts, which is the Psycho-Grunts, which is also just great. So efficient and lovely. 5 of them, 60 points for 5/5s. Excellent. They're Strider. You're not taking them for their melee profile, which is A1 AP nothing. You're taking them for this rule, really, which is Spell Warden. Once per this unit's activation, pick a friendly caster within 12, which gets +1 to its next casting roll. Really good if you do want to take casters in Alien Hives. If you've got some in your list, throwing in a unit of Psycho-Grunts is just very nice. Sprinkled on the top, they've got resistance, this extra 6-up save, which is a 2-up against spells. You combine all of that on the base profile for 60 points. So nice and efficient.
Yeah, they're quite durable. And it's nice having a unit like this in a list as well. Because 60 points is a small amount of points, and it's nice to fill out your list with stuff like this.
Yeah.
It will die most of the time, but importantly, this doesn't die to spells, which means that your opponent has to use an activation and target it properly.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to two sets of 6 hits them to death because they'll just walk away from them. So yeah, it's a kind of surprising unit for 60 points. If you have a spellcaster, you get that extra bonus as well. I think most of the time I'm skipping these guys because I just don't have a use for them in the list. But I think that depending on what your local meta's like, if people do bring a lot of spellcasters and they use spellcasters to clear up chaff, this is a great little counter to that. Because even for 120 points, you're getting 10 of them. They all have resistance. You have Spell Warden if you're going to use it or not, whatever. An extra 20 points there. You've got No Retreat and Strider, which is a nice little combo, and you're like, you're 9/10 of your way to a Ghostly Undead unit there, right? You've got resistance, you've got Strider, you've got No Retreat. So, yeah, it's okay. I think in the context of the other grunts, you probably aren't taking these. These are like a premium grunt, I guess. And most of the time, you're not looking for a premium grunts. You're looking for grunts.
Yeah. When you are playing the spell-heavy list, because there are so many ways to do it, this is a nice one to have one of, maybe 2 of.
Yeah.
As I say, when I brought that list that had the Synapse Tyrant and the Synapse Beasts, I had a unit of Psycho-Grunts. They really punched up on the day because it wasn't that they killed things necessarily. It was an activation to burn. It was a buff to my spellcasting unit. It's something I could put into his spellcaster units and into my opponent's spellcaster units and just be absolutely fine with. And it took objectives. Because no one wants to spend an activation killing a 60-point unit. It took objectives. So I think they're very nice to do when you're building that list. You're not sad to bring it in.
Yeah, I think from a tactics standpoint as well, one thing to know about these kind of like cheap 60-point units is we often talk about how good cheap units are. But it's really, really, really easy to misplay with cheap units as well because they're so fragile. They will just die. So if you present your opponent an opportunity where they're not making a hard decision with these, i.e. the only target they've got is these grunts, then you're basically throwing away 60 points in your list. So it's important to play really, really cagey with these units. It's important to, if they're going to move up the board, then you need to be giving your opponent lots of choice, where the wrong decision is to attack these guys, and they should be attacking your more valuable units, because then if they make that choice, you get to keep your valuable unit. Whereas if you just put the Psycho-Grunts up on their own, then you're basically just kissing goodbye to 60 points.
Yeah, exactly.
So, when we talk about how good these units are, same with swarms, you need to just be really conscious of how you're using them. And most of the time, how you're using them is you're not using them. You're just keeping them back, and you might be taking an objective and then running to freedom.
Yeah. Many uses for good, cheap units, and these guys fit into it. You do have swarms in Alien Hives, which we're going to come on to, with showering love and praise. But this is another alternative to that. So we've got ones that I don't think deserve the grunt status, but they are called grunts. They're not in the core grunts. These are, well, for your mind, they're ultra premium grunts. You love these guys. This is a contentious point between us. The support grunts, you get a unit of 3 tough 1 models for 135 points. They're 5/5s. They have Strider. These are your shooty ones. They come with Relentless, which we've spoken about this. But Relentless with these guys has an interesting kick. You're not bringing them for their melee profile, A1, AP nothing. You're bringing them because they've got bio cannons. 24 inches, A1, blast 3, indirect, rending. Now, I skip over these most of the time. Harvey and I had a deal in the last event I went to with Alien Hives where if I take a unit of these and they make their points off, if they make their points worth, I buy him lunch. If they didn't, he buys me lunch. And we got to lunch and they hadn't. And so he bought me lunch, then he doubled down, and I think he bought me dinner as well. But there was one point when it went glorious. Harvey, talk to us about why this unit can be glorious.
Yeah, so just to be absolutely clear, Dave misplayed on the day, okay? These are the perfect...
I went 4-0!
These, yeah, you threw my grunts away, my precious support grunts. Yeah, so the key thing about these guys is indirect means that they never need line of sight, which means that you, on most boards of OPR, can put them somewhere where they're never going to die, because, you know, like how could they be shot from behind cover? They have 24 inches, which is enough ground, which is enough of a zone to be controlling. And they have this really ominous threat about them, where if you roll a 6, you get a blast 3 rending 6, so you get 3 rending hits.
3 AP 4 and 3 AP nothing rending.
Yeah, because of Relentless, right? So it's basically the ultimate high roller unit in Alien Hives. You just like put it on the board, and for 135 points every round, you get to pick up 3 dice and go, ooh, ooh, and then you roll it in front of your opponents. And if you get a 6 or 2 6s or whatever, then yeah, you're just like big grin on your faces. They just take their unit off the board, and if they do literally nothing else, then maybe they're threatening enough to existing there that it makes your opponent divert attention to go for them. And worst case scenario, and they've ignored them the whole time, you just double move onto a point at the end. They've got Strider, right? Like they just go and do that thing. So I think this is a surprisingly good unit for what it is. It's not like winning you the game all the time style unit, but it is only 135 points.
Yeah.
And I like to see one.
Yeah. And as we've discussed, you get that glorious moment at some point. So I brought a list that had pheromones in it. I'd pheromones these guys up. And the one game where it happened, my poor opponent, Ashley, she was playing the lizards, the space lizards, what they call Saurian Star Host. And she had a unit of Croxes. And I pheromones them up. And her first move, I think, had been just 12-inching the Croxes towards me. My second activation, maybe a bit later down the line, was these guys. And I spiked, I think, 2 6s, which just wiped the unit out. Her rolls went completely to crap. Obviously, 6 hits with AP 4 was already huge, but then the additional hits with AP nothing, she just lost the whole unit, and this one unit of grunts just decimated her big unit of Croxes. Her face... She was not a happy bunny, bless her. It was that thing about me being like, oh no, it's done its thing, and it's done its thing gloriously.
It did the thing.
And so, yeah, you get stories like that, which is hilarious to see. But you also get those ones where it just does a bit of nothing. I'm not huge on them. They're not crap. I don't think there's anything in this list we're going to call crap. It's just by comparison to the other things, it's not as excellent. But you love to bring one, so when we come to do our list later, I'm sure we'll have one unit in there.
Also, if you're a super brave baller, you double these guys up, obviously, you know, because that way, statistically, you're guaranteed one big blammo every time you shoot. Which, you know, that's not how statistics works. But when you're doubling these guys up, hell yeah, you don't give a shit about statistics. You're just rolling dice, lad. You know.
Absolutely love it. Alright, on to the Soul Snatchers. Now, we've already discussed the Soul Snatcher hero that is available to you. This is a great unit to pair it with. 170 points gets you 5 3/4s. Again, we like that weapon profile. They are fast, they are scout, they are strider. Each one has 2 attacks, AP 1 rending. These are all things we love. Quality 3, 2 attacks per model, AP 1 excellent, rending is excellent, fast and stride is such a good combo. You've got scout to get in their face. Scout and fast together means that your round one charges are absolutely insane. Great. The one upgrade they've got is the only one you need, because we spoke about how the level 1 spells in Alien Hives are their best ones. You can have a caster 1 for 15 points. Shebang, how's that?
So 15 points for caster 1. You just need to get off one of those deadly spells and it work, and that's paid for itself.
Absolutely.
You know, like a one model of a big unit like that is worth 70-80 points. This could just pop it for 15, which is nice. The other nice thing about this is that obviously you pick one model, so it's probably the last model alive. So if at any point it gets shot at and it doesn't die, you get that kind of persistent quality from it. As I mentioned before, I don't think Soul Snatchers are something you want to spam. You can do a full Soul Snatcher army, you can go crazy like that. There's a different list that you could be running if you want to do big scout plays that has these guys in it. Yeah, there's a whole other army book. Yeah, I like Soul Snatchers. I think they offer a quality 3, which is always good. Scout option, that is threatening enough. I like when you put the Lord in it as well, and you just roll with it as a little piece that you can threaten things with. At the end of the day, the board is 6 foot wide, right? So if you start deploying stuff in the middle and they try to deploy stuff on the edges, then you can blammo them with a nice fat stack of Soul Snatchers. And Scout is just a great rule, right? It gives you the massive tactical advantage of deploying after your opponent, which means that these guys should never be dead in the first 2 rounds, because really you should have known exactly what your opponent was going to do and snap back. And maybe you've made a tactical decision to throw these guys' lives away, but really you've put them exactly where they need to be on the board, and that should hopefully be where they are safe and threatening things. So yeah, great little unit to have.
Great little unit. We love you, Soul Snatchers. Let's keep going. We're going to go into another unit now, the Hive Warriors. This is one of those units that is still really, really good, but in the context of Alien Hives, because everything else is so great, actually does get left behind quite often, but it can fill some good roles depending on what you're looking for. Let's go through them. 130 points gets you 3 tough 3 models. Oh, Dave's excited. 3 tough 3s. They're 4/4s, they're fearless, and each one has got 2 attacks AP nothing. Pumping the brakes for just a moment. If that stat line was in any other army, I'd be snatching it up. 130 points for this fearless tough 9 units. Each model is punching at 133% of their wounds in output.
Yep.
Oh, brilliant. Their upgrades are all really good. You can replace... Any model may replace 1 Razor Claws. So each model can do this once. That's the way this comes out. With a gun. So you have an 18-inch A3 gun. AP nothing, which is fine. 18 inches is good, we like it. 24 inches Blast 3 gun. Good. Blast 3 is good. No reliable. I know this one. This one I'm well aware of. Or 12 inches A4 AP1. Also quite good. You just end up with 12 shots coming out of a unit that is 175 points. You can then replace one of the Ravager guns if you get the 10-point upgrade with more specialised thing, more AP blast, more AP, some rending, some deadly. Or you can take it a little bit of a different way. You can give them a whole load of melee upgrades. And you can give them ambush and flying. Good versatile unit of the Hive Warriors.
Yeah, it's like you said, these guys are kind of super generalist.
Yeah.
And it makes them not very appealing. It costs quite a lot to kit them out with some decent weapons.
This is the big downside, right?
Yeah, you end up spending a lot of points and they're still only quality 4.
Yeah.
I think that as they come, is probably as much as I'd like to see. I mean, you can go straight to blades on it and stuff, but I really think that the big heavy hitting AP that you need from Alien Hives, you get from the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to be kitting things like this out with this kind of stuff. I think it's good on the grunts where you can bury it deep, and it's still relatively cheap. But this starts to really stack up as you put things on, and these are very fragile.
Yeah,
so
they are. That's Death 4.
Yeah.
If there was no other unit in the army and this was the base unit, you wouldn't be unhappy. But
No.
it is that aspect of there's so many other great things, and they are very generalist. And when you're looking at 2,000 points, which can be quite a tight army list build space, you don't want generalist, you want specialist. And for that reason, Hive Warriors do often get left at home. I brought a stack of them into that event, and I wasn't too disappointed with them, but I also wasn't massively thrilled with them.
So Hive Warriors fall under the category of they're like 130 points, so you're not expecting a lot of them. But you kind of, I don't know, like if you're using them for objective taking, then you're probably better off with grunts with no retreat, because no retreat's better than fearless. If you're using them for their aggression and their like offensive profile, then they are actually less aggressively statted than assault grunts as well. Like, yeah, they have the extra quality, but Furious makes up for that.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really do any of those things better than assault grunt does. Obviously, they're slightly tankier, but I mean, most things don't just die. They have the weakness to deadly that the assault grunts don't have. So I just think that they're just kind of like a really, really middling, weird unit that I don't think is worth spending the points on. I don't think the quality, the tough 3 pool in Alien Hives is really that amazing. And I don't think these guys are a great start either. I think if these guys had an AP1, if I had AP1 built into their Razor Claws by default, I'd like that a bit more. Like, sure, it would probably cost them an extra 20 points or something, but I think for 150 points, that gives them their niche then.
Yeah.
Whereas the way they're built now, to give them that AP, you have to spend 10 points, because you also get the rending as well.
Yeah. Also, I think there's rounding kicking in
points.
Here, right?
There is, yeah, there must be.
There must be. Like, I can't see this being 10 points. I think this has literally got to be at like 7.8. Well, I'm obviously going to go for it, but like 7.6-ish. This is going to be around 8 points. It would mean that if you did take 6 of these, I don't think it should cost 60 points. But this is us really griping about an edge case thing when we have very little else to gripe about. This is us looking for problems, I think.
Yeah, I could see them being costed relatively close to that, because AP1 and rending over the base profile.
Okay.
But yeah, but I think, I don't know if it's a mental thing, but it feels very expensive taking an 130 point unit and spending 60 extra points on its weapons.
Yeah.
Especially for an AP1 and rending is nice, but I think these guys most of the time don't make it that far. So I think this is one of those units where you actually probably want to spend 30 points on it and accept that you're probably going to lose, or like 20 or 40 points, and accept that you're going to lose a model before you get in.
Yeah.
And take that saving.
Well, this is the approach I take with Custodians. I'll upgrade 2 of the models in the base warrior unit, because I kind of anticipate that one of the models is going to die before we get there. So 40 points for 170 points, it's still very good. Very, very good.
Yep.
But we're not getting in the bin. Not bidding them. They're just probably not coming with us. Let's keep going through my favourite units in total. Just all of these beautiful tough 3 units that we see. But you are right to say that overall the tough 3 units in Alien Hives aren't the most thrilling, but it's just nice to have a lot of them. I like them. Sadly, the Hive Guardians are some of my least favourite. We'll go through why in a moment. 155 points gets you 3 tough 3/3/3s. 3. These guys have each got 2 attacks each on their base Razor Claws, and each one has got 2 Razor Claws. So again, we have 4 attacks with AP nothing, which is quite nice to see. They come with Relentless, so these are the guys that we're looking to see how you kit them out with guns. Also, quality 3 is quite nice to have. You can replace 1 Razor Claw with the base gun, a heavy Ravager gun, 18 inches A3 AP2, a really nice profile, but it is 45 points per model. So you upgrade 3 of them, you've got 9 shots at AP2 on quality 3 coming out of the unit with Relentless. You can give them Deadly, you can give them Lock On. This AP4 Lock On 30-inch gun though, 80 points ahead is huge for A2. And you can make them a melee unit, which same comments as Hive Warriors goes. Really, the unique aspect of these is, other than the 3/3 stat line, it's the guns.
Yeah, these are meant to be the shooting versions of the Hive Warriors, and because of that, they lose Fearless, which is a shame. I think these guys were really nice if they had Fearless. Anyone who's been around the channel long enough knows how we feel about Relentless. I think it's almost a shame having Relentless on these guys.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just attacks. Because I think actually the 18-inch A2 gun is decent. With quality 3, you're hitting 6 of them every time you shoot, and AP2 means you're gonna melt through most targets, right? AP2 is a really, really nice point to be at.
Really good.
But because it has Relentless, combined with the 18-inch range, you're probably moving every time you want to shoot.
Exactly.
And yeah, so you just end up paying all these points for Relentless that you never really wanted to pay. If these guys drop Relentless, in fact, if Relentless was dropped from the game, there would be a lot of units like this that would all of a sudden feel a lot more appealing to take. A lot of the Flamer units would be a lot better. So I don't absolutely hate this unit. I think you can still take it with a heavy Ravager gun, because applying 6 hits AP2 is just a good effect, even for 300 points. But they're still not that tanky. I know Def 3 is obviously quite tanky, but like you're still going to lose these guys if you spend 300 points on them. People are going to go like, okay, there's the threat I want to kill. So you need to be ready to protect these things as well. So that requires bringing other units. And yeah, it's just hard to justify spending 300 points on that as a unit when, we'll get down to the beasts later on, like the big things down the bottom, but you can, for 300 points, you can get like a tough 12, fearless, fear 2, bunch of AP1 monster, right? And it's like, it feels like you're starting to kind of overspend on these Hive Guardians, which if they didn't have Relentless, you wouldn't feel that way.
Now we interrupt this army list review for a little bit of a sprinkly something that I don't even think you'll have seen. For those of you who aren't Patreons to One Page Rules, if you were to join the Patreon, you get access on the Discord to secret channels, and one of them is where their head dev Tano talks about upcoming changes. It's a channel he's recently put in as a perk for Patreons. How would you feel if Relentless were changed in the upcoming update?
I would feel good about it. It depends what it got turned into, obviously. If it has to still work with flamers, otherwise, I'm just sad vibes. But yeah, basically anything that the weird thing about Relentless is it's supposed to make shooting units better, and I feel like forcing shooting units to be stationary is like nerfing them actually quite significantly, because they need to be moving.
It's a moving game. Standing still is not good. It's actively bad.
So if it was just like a flat buff to shooting somehow, I don't know what that, even if it was just like a +1 quality, or if it was like, 6s do 1 extra hit, not necessarily interacting with blast, even that would be better, just as long as you could use it while moving around the board.
So, and again, I'm presuming then you're either being incredibly coy or you genuinely just don't know what this is yet, because you're not in the channel. Okay.
No.
I know what the current design is, and again, I'm not spoiling it because I'm not going to bust the nut on a whole load of OPR things that is a paid thing. That's for OPR to distribute, not me. If you were to change it, what would you do? Just keep it like narrowly, nothing super spicy, but within the bounds of OPR.
You just remove the you have to hold thing, right?
Yeah.
Just turn that into shooty.
Cool.
Right, like that. The simplest change you could make would be to turn it into shooty. If that was the change that was made, I would be a very happy man.
Relentless would go from like in the pits to in the skies, right?
Yeah, exactly. All those flame units that we sing about already would get even better. That's like, because if anyone's ever we never did a Blessed Sister review, and we probably won't do before the refluffing.
Yeah.
But that was Blessed Sister's thing, right? Like popping out of an APC and popping deadly / heavy flamers on things, and on 6s it just kills stuff. So if every single support unit in the game could do that, then all of a sudden, they become a lot better than the other 3-stack units. You look at like True Witches or whatever. That's a bad example. If we look at
one of your favourite,
sorry, that just immediately came to mind, but it's a completely useless one. veteran battle brothers, for example,
Yeah.
they become a lot worse than the support brother alternative. Whereas right now they're way better because they don't pay for Relentless. So yeah, exactly. it would definitely solidify that niche, which is nice. Yeah. And I could actually, if that was the case, I could really start spending serious points on this style of unit, because it's getting to contribute to the board, and having a big mega doom stack of them is going to kill stuff on the board as well. So it's a really, really nice, like, I can apply this over there to destroy that unit while also being on the board and actually contributing to the game, instead of having this constant, like, my opponent stood 12.1 inches away from me thing, which is what Relentless is like now.
Absolutely. So for those of you who aren't Patreons, shame on you, it's a $5. You get all the advanced rulebooks. Do it once. At this particular time as well in the cycle of OPR, where we've got releases coming up soon and you can get a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, go spend a $5. But otherwise you'll see in the next update what the change is. Obviously at the moment it's currently draft. Tano might see this video. If you do, hi Tano, nice to see you, and say screw you Dave, because of exactly that comment I'm not making the change. Tano, let me know if you do that, that's funny. But yes, if a change does come into Relentless, our analysis of it gets much better. Just specifically if you get rid of that when using hold actions thing, right? It could be a very minor buff, but at the moment that is just such a drawback. Yeah, so we spent ages talking about that, so let's keep going. We're going from glory to glory here, because Hive Guardians, if that is changed, will be really good. They're already fine right now, but let's talk about, you know, one of the sexiest, biggest, sparkliest units in the Alien Hives roster. It's the Hive Swarm. 60 points gets you 3 tough 3 6/6s. They are Strider, but for some reason they're also fearless. They've got 3 attacks each with poison, and then you can upgrade them to either have to have one or both of ambush for 5 points, or 12 inches A4 AP1 shots. Kind of interesting. Now, there's a lot of chat about swarms. I've seen the chainsword guys from France think that they're underpowered. We disagree.
Yeah, I think they were specifically talking about the robots.
Fair enough.
So expensive. But, I mean, they do have robot no retreat, you know, undead, so I think that is worth its weight in gold, really, for this style.
It really is.
So what is a Hive Swarm? A Hive Swarm is a 60-point unit with a 4-up morale. That's what it is, right? Because quality 6, I mean, it does exist, right? You will pass every so often, but really it has a 4-up morale. What else the Hive Swarm has going for it is Burrow attack, which gives it ambush. So this is a 65-point unit basically all the time that you have in your roster, and you never deploy it until like round 3, and then you smack it down round 3, and then it moves on to points round 4. By then your opponent is sufficiently weakened where they probably can't threaten this enough, and you've only spent 65 points on it. So yes, you've been playing down, but as long as you've been playing well, you've made up that difference, and then these guys can then neutralize a point that might be being taken by something else. You see it quite a lot in games where if you spread the objectives wide, which you would do if you had Hive Swarms, your opponent is forced to send 200, 300 points or whatever towards that objective to take it early on, and then start trudging their way across the board. Well, if you have this in reserve, when they reach that objective, they then can't leave, because they know that come round 3, a Hive Swarm is going to come down, and they need to be in a position to be able to counter that. Mm-hmm. Now, if they're doing that with a melee unit, this thing has Strider, so you can play with difficult terrain, you'd be fine. On top of that, I mean, there's just a chance it just doesn't die. It's like 9 wounds. You could double it up if you want to get even more crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this is just like in the similar way to how Scout influences how your opponent's playing without anything being at risk. This is very similar.
Yeah.
Because they can be like, okay, I'm going to stay on this objective, I'm going to try and hold it, and when they put the Hive Swarms down, I'll be able to counter it because I put my Flame unit over there, and then you just don't put your Hive Swarm over there, and you give them that objective, and maybe use it to win an objective somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just makes them play in a certain way that you have no risk. You're not putting any chips on the table. So yeah, just a great unit really overall. It's probably one of the better ones. I mean, you could even, like, to be honest, like a better version of this Hive Swarm would probably have, you know, less attacks, less poison or whatever. Like, you really do just care that they are tough 3, and you really do care that they have some morale mitigation, and preferably have ambush.
So the Hive Swarm, excellent unit. Let's keep on looking at some more great tough 3 units. We've got the Ravenous Beasts next up. They are 145 points for 3 tough 3s. They are 4/4s, so they're quite like the Warriors in this regard. They have Fast and Strider, a lovely pairing of special rules, and each one has 2 Razor Claws, so 4 attacks per model. The same as we've seen with the Hive Warriors and the Hive Guardians. Very nice having that 133% of your wounds in output. Their upgrades are more focused. You can give them either Scout or Ambush at 20 points. And then you can replace any of the Razor Claws with the same things as we've seen for the Hive Warriors. And you can replace one of the Razor Claws with either a Blast attack or a Deadly attack. Really nice and simple. But they do fall into that category, the same category as the Hive Warriors, I think.
Yeah, I do prefer these guys to the Hive Warriors. I think having Fast and Strider built in for only 15 points, yeah, you lose Fearless, but I think it gives them a more clear role over the Assault Grunts, where the Hive Warriors don't have enough aggression really in them to compete with them. These guys do, right? Fast and Strider means you can get onto targets you want to get onto, and you could upgrade these guys with Force or Rated Blades for 60 points, and a 205 point unit with Fast Strider and 8 AP4 attacks is threatening enough and cheap enough where that's a nice unit to have around, right? That's an easily applicable amount of AP4 with Fast and Strider it's easy to then also put in the right spot. So yeah, I much prefer this unit to what the Hive Warriors have, and if you wanted to, you could also go Scout on these guys.
Yeah.
And they could play a similar role to the Soul Snatchers we saw.
This is one of those instances of a bit of a better application because of the damage output that is available to you, and it's a really good application of what you mentioned earlier, what we talked about, which is just upgrading 2 of the 3 models in case you lose that one on the way in. Ravenous Beasts are a nice little unit to have. Just Fast and Strider's just excellent, really.
Yeah, and it's worth noting these guys are not here for the morale game, right? Like, it's okay to go like, okay, this unit is never going to be the unit that's taking objectives for me. I have that reliability elsewhere. So what I can use this unit for is really threatening AP, and that just be its whole role. And if it never fulfills its role, then maybe you need to reevaluate where you're playing with them or whatever your wider strategy is. But having a 16-inch bubble around these guys with AP built in and playing them back and playing them as a countercharge unit is it's going to pay off, right? Yeah. Like, the people step forward, so you charge them with these guys, right? Like, this is going to scare off every APC, every tank, everything really. It's going to be terrifying on the countercharge. Now, they are quality 4, and quality 4 is like, I don't know, it's cursed, and you just always miss all your dice rolls. But I think if you're playing these guys as like a sweeper countercharging unit or tactical incision kind of stuff, then they'll do you well. But if you just kind of like YOLO them up the board, then their death fall will really shine and you'll just have a sad unit of Ravenous Beasts. But yeah, I think these guys are just better Hive Warriors. The Hive Warriors are like if you wanted this and also wanted objective taking, and maybe you need to make that compromise at some point. But I don't think you do. I think you can just take some Assault Grunts and be happy with them.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually, because as we get now into the more specialised units, we've moved out of chaff and we're talking about specific things that have specific battlefield roles. This is where a good player can take Alien Hives and really start to excel. When you've got your specialist units that are there to fulfill a role, with a bit of versatility and flexible play in there, you can make it feel like you are all over your opponent. You can make it feel like every single move you do is a threat, every single move has strategic rationale, but if you did just punt these units up the board, I mean, they're not do everything. These guys, no morale mitigation, death 4, they will disappear. If you punt them into the wrong unit, they're going to go away. But they do give you that ability to index into what you want them to do very nicely. We're going to keep saying that as we get through more and more of these guys. There are a few hilarious ones that just are beautiful and wonderful in every single way, but Ravenous Beasts is a good example of taking a specific unit for a specific role, and if you play well, they will do that very effectively. Let's move on to the Synapse Beasts. So this, we've spoken about the casters. This is one of the caster units in the core. 200 points gets you 3 tough 3/4/4s. They come with stealth, which is just a really cute little addition to have on the unit. But what you're taking them for is this rule, the Psychic Synapse rule. This is Seer's Council. You might see it in some other armies. You pick one model in this unit at the beginning of the round to get caster X, or sorry, at the beginning of the game to get caster X, where X is the total number of models with this rule in the unit. If the model is killed, then you pick another one to be it, and you transfer the tokens, and it loses all of its unspent tokens at the end of the round. So how does this work in practice? At the beginning of the round, you've got one model who's your nominated caster. They get caster tokens equal to the number of models in the unit. So if you have this as a base unit, that caster gets 3 caster tokens. If you kill one of the models, then the next time it will only have 2, and so on. The quirk of this rule is that you can double up the unit, first of all. So if you have 6 of them, that is a caster 6. If you put a hero in the unit, then... Oh no, they've changed it! It used to be you could put a hero in the unit, but the wording has been recently changed, where it's just models within the unit. But still, you can double up the unit, very, very exciting, and you get a caster 6 that you want to spend all your tokens with every round. We'll come on to the weaknesses of that in a moment. The loadout, very straightforward. 18-inch gun, A1 blast 3, AP nothing. Very nice to have. A1 in combat, that's fine. If these guys are in combat, something's gone wrong, and then you can upgrade them to have regeneration. So, the Synapse Beasts, a unique piece again. I don't think you're going to love them, do you?
No, so this is where having regen in the spell list really pays off, because these guys are losing their tokens at the end of every round, and a strong buff like regen lets them spend them in the first round. There are some spell lists in the game where you just literally cannot spend 3 spell tokens at the start of the game on a unit like this. So it's good to see that they have that capability. As mentioned before, I don't think that Alien Hives need to play this style of play. They do have lots of big monsters, so you could go for a big monster mash, buff them all up strategy, and that won't be bad, right? I mean, we say this quite a lot through our reviews, but none of the things we're reviewing today are bad, right? Like, you could run all of these in a list and you'd be pretty happy with yourself. We're here to talk about what we think is most effective, and I don't think Synapse Beasts fall under that. I think they are quite threatening. Whenever they're on the board, I always want to kill them. Stealth is quite annoying. Long range blast is quite annoying. The regen throwout is pretty good. It's only a 50-50 though. But I think that's says more about the style of army I play, as in low defense, where I'm scared of the blast, and less about the quality of these units. I think these guys, most of the time, are not getting enough value because they can't walk forwards because they'll just lose combat. They don't have morale mitigation. They're nowhere near as threatening as something like Ravenous Beasts. Basically for the same cost, you could have that Ravenous Beast stack I was talking about before, and I think in terms of aggression, you'd rather have that. So really, these guys are the gimmick piece that are casting the flying and the regen, and I don't think that's enough to be doing it. Like, I don't think that's enough value for the 200 points.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at this in the lens of saying the other armies available to you in Grimdark Future are Battle Brothers and Prime Brothers and Havoc Brothers, just taking those 3 like quite headline armies, which are all defense 3, quality 3, they aren't scared of the Synapse Beasts. If you hit them with a couple of blast 3 hits, they might lose a model or 2, but there's no AP on it, there's no reliable on it. It's called for, and you can take these guys out quite effectively. They are good defensive pieces, but you know, we lean more to the best defense is good offense school of thought, and where you're bringing defensive pieces to play defensively, you're not taking your opponent's units off the board, and so the Synapse Beasts aren't quite as hot for that reason. I do like them, but I think that's just because I like caster. I like spell casting. I like fuzzy effects like that.
I think these guys get a lot better when you stick the Synapse Lord in it and do that thing, because I think on their own, caster 3 where you lose your tokens at the end of the round isn't that good, right? You're risking it all on 50-50s all the time. But you throw a Synapse Tyrant in there and all of a sudden you're buffing his spells with those tokens, and then then it starts to make a bit more sense.
That rule was hilarious.
Maybe you've got
some
of the when you could add the thing in.
Yeah, it used to be, I've lost them. The Synapse Beasts, here we go. It used to be that where X is the total number of models in this unit. And so that was one of the things that I did. I took the Synapse Tyrant, and it was suddenly we have 7 points of caster to throw out every round.
Yeah, that's a lot more effective.
That is a lot more effective. An important point to note, as I did find, was that when shaken, it's not as good as caster, obviously, because you lose your points at the end of the round. So if this unit gets shaken, you're just not getting points for that round, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can counterspell with that. So if your opponents are bringing lots of casters in your local meta, then this unit again could be quite valuable for that, because even if they're shaken, they can spend their points to counterspell. But as you say, there are more exciting and sexy things that give that damage index output.
Yeah, for 200 points, I'd rather have a Gloctopus.
I want a sticker that says I'd rather have a Gloctopus in the bin, and I'd rather have a Gloctopus.
In the bin, I'd rather have that's the merch that's coming, guys. Get your friends and family to subscribe to our channel, and we'll have merch before you know it.
Absolutely.
In fact, what you can definitely do is you can get your girlfriends and your sisters and your mothers to subscribe. Because currently we have 100% male viewership, so I know you haven't told them. I know you haven't gone to subscribe. I know it. We both know it. So go out and do something about it.
Get them involved, please do. At the same time, you yourself, yes, you, I'm talking to you, watcher who has not subscribed to the channel, please do.
Yes.
Costs you nothing, absolutely nothing, and what it does for us is it gives us the warm and fuzzies. We are trudging towards 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean so much, so please, please, please do that.
Yeah. We only post like 1 3-hour video every week. Right? It's like watching. All right? You can fit that in your busy schedule. If you've made it this far in the video, you got time to spare.
Oh, and you've got time to click subscribe. Yes. And join us on Discord, because it's great fun. Let's move on. Moving on to the Venom Beasts, one of your favourite units, I think, in the history of the world. 210 points for 3 tough 3s. They are 4/4s with stealth, kind of cute. They each come with whip limbs, which is 4 attacks, poison, reliable, a pretty unique combo there. You can upgrade them with regeneration for 30 points, or you can give them, you can give them one of these upgrades. Shrouding Mist for 45 points, which is once per this unit's activation, pick 2 friendly units within 12 inches, which gets stealth the next time it would apply, when they're next shot at. Quite nice if you're against a shooty army. But the one that you sold this unit to me on, and I am now all in with you, is Poison Mist, 25 points. Once per this unit's activation before attacking, roll a die on a 4+, 2 enemy units within 6 inches take a hit with Blast 6 and Poison. You could just go kablamo with this one.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is a bit like having 2 sets of 6 hits, kind of, the spellcast on demand. It's half the range. It's definitely not as good, but it's really threatening. And for the 235 points it costs you, for Venom Beasts, which are chaff destroyers, they also get this additional chaff destroying bonus. And even if you only cast it on the 1 unit you're charging, it's still pretty good. I cast it. It's not even casting, right? But even if you use it on the 1 unit you're charging. So yeah, I think that's fine. I think this is stealth is nice on this unit because they are very squishy. They don't have a really solid way of getting in. But Poison Mist does give them the option of being able to hit things 18 inches away because you double move and use it. So there's a little bit of flexibility there as well. So I like these. I like having one of them. I think they're really good at clearing up chaff. Blast 6 and Poison obviously is very good for that. It lets them target multiple units. They've got Poison and Reliable otherwise. So just like a nice thing to have. And also Poison Mist, obviously, as long as there's one of them alive, you're still getting this.
Yeah.
And that's pretty potent. Yeah, the other buff they get is the stealth one. I'm not as wow on that one. I think stealth is really good, and obviously you're going to use that when it's best. But I think you're starting to go in the direction of preferring defense to offense, and stealth's not so good that I want to spend 255 points on a unit to give me it.
Yeah.
Whereas the Poison Mist is more aggression, so I think is better overall.
Also, if you have got that one guy left and you want this unit out of there, it's just before attacking, so you can actually drop it at the start of your activation and then get out of dodge, which is pretty damn good. So the Venom Beasts are unique. I've really enjoyed using them when I've used them in the past. They're great fun. I encourage you to go and try them out. Again, as you said, Chaff Destroyer. They have a unique battlefield role. Don't fling this into tanks. Don't fling this into massively heavily armoured things. If you don't have Chaff to attack, it is still a set of bodies that take objectives. Don't worry too much about it, but don't Yola them into the abyss.
Yeah, we talk about like point allocation to objectives. If you are playing against someone who's got a really, really high defense army and you know you have Venom Beasts kicking around, it's totally okay to spread the objectives around, knowing that this 210 points is not going to get 210 points of value because you're not going to be as good in melee, and then therefore you can send them to these objectives, knowing that despite you maybe committing more than them points-wise, in terms of effectiveness, this is probably going to be better off tying up another unit even if it could never kill one.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, to be honest with you, just doing 12 attacks on 2-ups is 10 hits, and 10 hits with poison is like nothing to scoff at.
No,
so, despite that, like the reliability of them gives them punching power as well, which I think is good. I think a very easy unit to kind of overlook, but I'd recommend you give them a go. There's lots of units in the Alien Hives list that I think are like one-offs.
Yeah.
I think you could get one of Soul Snatchers, one of Ravenous Beasts, one of Venom Beasts. There's a couple more things further down, like Flamer Beasts and stuff, that I think are worth bringing along. So yeah, I think, is that just literally anything with the word beast in the name? Maybe. Just like one of anything with beast in the name, you will have made a good list. It's the beast list. Why the fuck not? But yeah, so a good unit, a good solid unit. Once again, another unit that's not going to win you the game, but you're probably not going to regret having it in the game either. Because they are really, really threatening.
Lovely. Let's move on to the Shadow Leapers. The Shadow Leapers. 3 tough 3s for 185 points. They're again 4/4s. These ones have got that fast strider combo, which we really like to see. They're ambush built in. Very nice. And they've got stealth. So difficult to hit from far away. And then they come with these 4 attacks each at AP nothing, and then the same as we've seen with Ravenous Beasts and Hive Warriors, the similar suite of upgrades for 10-ish points a model. That's all there is in the actual loadout. Now, you liked the Ravenous Beasts over the Hive Warriors. What do you think about Shadow Leapers?
I think Shadow Leapers are going too far in the other direction. You can basically get this whole profile from Ravenous Beasts once again. You can give them ambush. And they don't get stealth. And I think ambush and stealth's a bit of a nombo. It's not entirely a nombo, because obviously you're not necessarily, this is not a 1v1 game, right? You're not ambushing a single unit and charging it and then nothing else tries to shoot you. But yeah, these guys are kind of what you take if you've run out of Ravenous Beasts and you're really vibing with the Ravenous Beasts, I guess. Yeah, this is the, yeah. So these guys are okay. I think they are probably also just a leave it at home kind of guy. They don't have the word beast in their name, so I think they're kind of trash. You're straight in the bin with these
20
guys.
points in the bin. Woo!
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're paying all the extra points and you don't even get beast in your name. I really don't think that's a good trade. Like, if your opponent's gonna look at your list and read Shadow Leapers and be scared? Nah, dude. Ravenous Beasts, come on. Win the mental. Win the mental.
Win the mental. Shadow Leapers. That 20-point extra upgrade of stealth is a bit too much for you, unfortunately. And again, it's that context of because of how good everything else is. So the Shadow Leapers probably aren't making it onto our top few units. So no beasts again, but we're continuing the shadow theme now for the Shadow Hunter. Used to be far sexier than it is now. Let's have a quick look through. 170 points gets you a single tough 6 model. It's a 3/4, we like this. It's got fast and strider, which we like. It's got stealth, which can be good. Ambush, interestingly now fear 1, and it's tough 6. Its base loadout is 6 attacks AP 1. That's across 2 heavy razor claws, and you can upgrade them. And you can give it the takedown special rule, which we've spoken about before and don't love. And you can give it caster 2. What do you think of the Shadow Hunter?
So the Shadow Hunter used to be a monster. It used to have 8 attacks on quality 3. It's still good. I think you can still give it serrated blades. So you can still give it 6 attacks. AP4
quality 3.
Yeah, with quality 3, right? So that brings that up to like 4 hits on average. he's got Fear 1, which I think is super relevant because what this means is it actually is in disguise is a high defense melee walker, which is relevant. I don't think it's as good as the like a 2-up with Fear, because obviously Fear gets better with higher defense.
Yeah.
So he's kind of in a weird position now where he doesn't really know what he's trying to do. He's just like, he does the ambush thing, and you probably want to kill him out with serrated blades for that, and he runs in and he probably does 4 wounds to something. And if they've got a vehicle, then that's
tank
quite
killer,
scary for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And if they don't have a vehicle, then he's probably struggling on the snapback if it was anything tough 6 or more. And if he just like murked a unit, then he's done really well for himself. So it's another one of these units in Alien Hives that likes your opponent being isolated. This is going to kill a unit if it wants to, right? Like if there's a 5-man unit, this is going to run up to it and kill it to the point where it's probably not going to be able to kill it on the snapback, and then you can win that over the following turns. But he will die on the snapback. So he needs to get his value from that. He needs to get that 210 points of value, knowing that he's going to die when he gets shot at, because he's only tough 6, defense 4.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting piece. I think it was a lot better when it had 8 attacks.
Yeah.
As for the upgrades, Caster 2 is kind of interesting. It's obviously got ambush, so Caster gets a lot stronger when you have ambush, because this guy comes in with 4 tokens. He throws down 2 sets of 4 hits, charges something. Maybe you can get something going with that angle instead. I think this is a nice piece, but I'm not rushing to include more than one of them, if at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just okay. Once again, no beast in the name. So
yeah, I do like it. It's a strategy I've not played with, I think, enough to really appreciate, is bringing one of these with AP4 and Caster 2, because the versatility of when it lands could be so big. Takedown, I'm nearly always leaving, just because I'm going to roll a 1 on that and be salty about the one time I roll a 1. But the Caster 2, I can be, a bit less salty about when I roll my 1s there for some reason in my head.
Yeah, I think this guy, he does, like, he used to have much more of this niche, but I think his niche is the round 3, very aggressive, take a point, probably mostly guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because if he comes down with Caster 2 on round 3, he's got all 6 of his tokens. He can throw out a little bit deadly, a little bit of 4 hits, maybe some morale stuff. He can rush in with his AP4 and maybe even take takedown as well, just for a little bit of extra punch, and just know that you can probably guarantee an objective with that. I mean, between 4 hits of AP4 plus the 2 deadly things between takedown and the spell, he could do good work against tough 3 stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very, very specific role that you're looking for. Like where you would take a Hive Swarm to just decap a point, you're spending a lot more on this guy to try and take the point.
Yeah.
But he's a lot more fragile.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. Lovely. Let's move on then as we get into some very unique pieces, I think. We've got the Mortar Beast first up here. He's got Beast in his name, so Harvey's a big
Does
thumbs
have Beast
up
in his
there.
name? Something's happening.
170 points gets you a tough 6 model with Fear 1 and Fearless, so we like these. It's quality 4, defense 3, so usually we like our quality higher than our defense, but the more the tough goes up, the more we do actually want the defense to get better, to stick around a bit longer. It comes with a Spore gun, 24 inches, A1, blast 6, indirect, exploding spores. Now, exploding spores used to be a bit more exciting, but for this one, it is now enemies that roll 1 on their defense checks take an extra wound for each unmodified result of a 1 that they roll. The base Mortar Beast, I don't think we're taking. Just because Blast 6 has got some built-in redundancy, what you can do with this is replace that Spore gun with the Spawn ability, and you get to spawn in Spores. You get to put 5 Spores in as a 40-point upgrade. Now, what are Spores, you say? We're going to review 2 units for the price of 1. Spores are a pretty unique unit. You see them in Ratman clans as well. 5 of them, you get them in units of 5. They are 6/6s. They have no retreat. You don't take them for the fact they have 1 attack in combat. You take them for this rule, Explode. If this model is killed in melee, the attack takes X hits, and it's Explode 2 here. If this model survives melee, it is killed and the enemy unit takes X hits. So a unit that gets into melee with 5 Spores is going to take 10 hits. Harvey, talk to me about the Mortar Beast and its ability to spawn Spores.
So Spawn, unlike Ambush, the Spawn units can take objectives the turn they land, which makes Spawn really good on quite durable units because they basically on the very last round, which they probably survive to, can pop their little spawned stuff down, and the spawn stuff, which has basically been inside a transport the whole time, comes rushing out and does stuff. The difference being this thing can be spawned within 6 inches and then it can run 12 inches on its turn. So this is actually a huge amount of threat on the board. Now, spores obviously blow up if you charge them, making them not very good objective takers. But what they don't blow up when you do is shooting them, because they have no retreat. So they don't shake from shooting, and you'd have to lose your no retreat roll in a pretty bad way for them to die. So they're kind of like swarms again. Now you do lose the spore gun if you take this upgrade.
Yeah.
But luckily the spore gun is not very good.
Yeah.
If you're moving, it's only hitting on a 5, otherwise it's hitting on a 4, which otherwise means you're never hitting it. It's blast 6, which means you're wasting some of its capability already, and basically unpaying for the reduction you got from taking blast in the first place. Exploding spores is nice. It's basically like AP1. That's pretty decent. But I think if you're using this guy as a shooting piece, he is only 170 points, but probably disappointed.
Yeah.
I quite like him as a spawning thing. Once again, he's part of the Beast Gang, so you just take one of them. And yeah, use that kind of flexibility built into it. Like all the beasts have got something kooky about them, so this guy's kooky thing is spawning spores. But this is it's really important that you end up with more activations from your opponent.
Yeah.
If you want to make the most of this.
That's where you
now,
break Spawn.
Luckily, yeah, so like Spawn's really good when you have more activations because there's nothing they can do to the Spawn unit because they've activated everything already. Now, luckily, you are in an army with no retreat, which gives you a really easy way of keeping more activations than your opponents because it's really hard to wipe out things with no retreat. So the chance of this thing being able to do its like end turn cap 2 points thing is quite high. And in between, this thing just stomps around, does some counter charges with fear. It's got fearless. Death 3 is not the end of the world. It's not like
5
punching
attacks at
massively.
AP1 is alright.
It's okay, like it's gonna hit like 2 or 3, right? Yeah, and that's when Fear 1 really pulls its weight. But yeah, this is an objective piece. For 210 points, you get that really strong ability of potentially threatening 2 objectives at the end of the game. It's probably the least exciting of the beasts.
Yeah.
But don't underestimate spores just as a kind of like, I put the spores down and I charge them into something for 10 hits. Because that's the other way you play this, right? You play a thing on the flank, and let's say they put a unit of chaff in front of you. You put your unit of spores in front of them, and the spores run in and blow up, and then the Mortar Beast run in and hits them with its attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can also play that role. So I like the flexibility that Spawn brings, and I think that makes this quite good. The base version probably less so.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Mortar Beast, a unique piece to hold on to. Just think a bit more about what we were saying about spawning spores, folks, because there's another unit later on that we'll be talking about in a big way with that ability. Let's move on to one of my favourite pieces in the Alien Hives list, the Flamer Beast. 200 points gets you a 4/3 tough 6 with Fearless and Fear 1. We've spoken about the virtues of all of that. Like the Mortar Beast that's got 5 attacks AP1 in melee. We've spoken about that. What this thing has is a heavy flamer, which we like. It's got 2 attacks, it actually has reliable, and it's at 18 inches of range. It's firing out 2 blast 3 AP1 shots on 2 ups at 18 inches every single round. Flamer Beast, my Flamer Beast. I love this model. What do you think about it?
So what this is a very well-costed Flamer Beast. Fans of the channel will know we often describe things as Flamer Beasts, but more or less expensive. Yeah, so what is the Flamer Beast? It's got an okay weapon profile, it's got fear, it's got fearless, and it's got some nice long-range threatening guns. This is a better version of the Mortar Beast if you were just using the Spore gun thing.
Way better.
Yeah, so obviously reliable means that it's hitting on 2 pluses instead of 4 ups. 2 blast 3s better than 1 blast 6. Exploding spores and AP1 are roughly the same. But yeah, this thing's just kind of like threatening. And for 200 points, yeah, it's worth bringing. It's not like, oh my god, you know, this I need to deal with this Flamer Beast, otherwise it's going to wipe everything out. But what it will do is just constantly accrue value, because it's really hard to be out of 18-inch range of it, and because it's reliable, it's probably throwing out 6 hits every time. And if this thing gets you, let's say, 21 AP1 hits across the game for 200 points, and you've got a body that can charge things if it wants to, fatigue things with fear to win combats and do that kind of stuff, and worst case scenario, it's got fearless, and Def 3 tough 6 is nothing to scoff at. So overall, it's a very rounded piece. I'm not wow on it, but once again, it does earn its spot in the Hall of Beasts, and we'll bring one of them.
Excellent. Flamer Beast, the most efficient Flamer Beast there is. We like it.
Yep.
The next unit would be to discuss the Spores. They're 85 points for everything we've discussed. On their own, I'm probably not taking them. I'm not prioritising them. They're fun, but I think we're going to pass over them pretty quickly. The massive Spores are an even funnier version of the Spores. 165 points gets you 3 tough 3s. They're 6/6s. Everything we've spoken about Spores is this, but bigger. They've got 3 attacks each in case you do want to get them into combat. No retreat, as we've mentioned. They have Explode 6 instead. So you make contact with these guys. You might attack with 9 tendril attacks, which, you're going to hit 1.5 of them on average. And then you just blam them with 18 hits in melee.
Yeah, so Spores and Massive Spores hold the title of the most aggressively statted units in the game.
Yeah. Each one can deal not 700%, that's a lie, but 200 over 200% of their damage.
Yeah, they're doing bits really. They're guaranteed. It's like super reliable. But obviously they kill themselves.
Yeah.
Now, I think doubling up a unit of Spores is better than a unit of Massive Spores. Because what's the advantage of tough 3, right? Like when we talk about tough, what does it give us? Well, tough means we lose aggressive stats slower. That's the main perk of having tough. You take 2 wounds, you don't lose a model, you attack back with 9 to 12 attacks.
Yeah.
Now these guys obviously do have A3, but they're on quality 6, so really
They're
the
not
bonus
really
of tough
bad.
kind of disappears a little bit. Now, what you can do with these guys, so obviously you compare this to a doubled up Spore, and you go like, okay, well, I'd rather take the doubled up Spores. But then what if you're insane enough to go, well, what if I just double up my Massive Spores then? Well, you probably still want 2 units of doubled up Spores over the unit of doubled up Massive Spores.
Yeah.
But that then becomes a really, really hard to move blob that's going to absolutely detonate the first thing that charges it.
Yeah.
Which is still bad.
Yeah.
But it's really fun.
It's really fun. It's fun. It's funny.
Really fun. Yeah, there's a real kind of like cackling thing going on. We won't cover it today, but obviously anyone who's reached this far in the video is probably thinking, what if I fill my army full of Spores? And yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can get some Mortar Beasts, you can get some Massive Spores, you can get some Spores. I think the Invasion Artillery Spore, and I think that can spawn Spores as well, and also the Invasion Carrier Spore you can use to carry your Spores in. So yeah, you can literally, if the Beast clan is a clan within Alien Hives, so is the Spore clan. The difference between the Beast clan you take 1 of, the Spore clan you take none of. That's the key distinction. So we'll get onto that in a bit.
Lovely. That rounds out our core units in the Alien Hives. Already you should see there's so much versatility available to them. And this is why they're so good. They are a real... We've spoken about locks and keys in the past. They're such a key building army where you can have something for everything. And we're not even done yet. We have so much more to get through. And also, this is a good example, actually. Just another point of praise for the Alien Hives. It's a good example of OPR being a unit-based system rather than just being a hero-based system. Yes, the Hive Lord is a hero who is big, sexy, exciting, and quite unique. But really, he's just a big monster with some unique effects that he can have caster 3, which, you see, for example, on Wood Elf trees. We're not taking these guys to be glorious buff lords or caster damage outputs.
No.
We are focusing on the core units, and we're focusing on the monsters. And I think that's just a good thing about the Alien Hives. It's another thing that accelerates them to being one of the top armies for that reason. The monsters. They're called vehicle/monsters, but I've never seen wheels on a Carnivo-Rex. Let's start with him, our big boy, Rexicus the Big. We have 3 Rexes, and Carnivo-Rex is where we're starting out today. 300 points gets you a Tough 12, Fearless, Fear 2, Quality 4, Defense 2 unit. All of the Rexes carry this Tough 12, Fearless, Fear 2, 4-2 profile, so I will kind of brush over that. This one's base 300 points. It comes with 13 attacks, AP 1 on its base, 3 Heavy Razor Claws and 1 Stomp attack. You can give it regeneration, which is kind of funny. You can replace any of its 3 Heavy Razor Claws with some more attacks. The ones that are in there that we're really paying attention to are this AP1 Rending, AP4. Cute. There is also an A4 Poison Reliable attack here, so you can actually make this a 16 attack unit, which is good. You could replace all 3 of the Heavy Razor Claws with some sort of gun. The funny one here that I quite like is the A12 AP2 18-inch gun. And you can replace one of the claws with a breath attack, which is once per this activation, pick something in 6 inches on a 2-up, blast 3, AP1, nice little hit. Now, I'm not particularly keen on taking the Carnivo-Rex as a shooting unit. I'm more in it for the melee. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. We talk about ranged walkers quite a lot, and this is basically a ranged walker almost. If you take it with a shooting profile, which means that if you're taking it with a shooting profile, you need to move it up the board. You need to be leveraging your defense 2. You need to be leveraging your fear, your fearless, your tough 12. Otherwise, you're just paying a lot of points for something that's not aggressively sat in.
Yeah.
Now, I think you could take this as a 390 point A12 AP2 thing. I think that would be fine. 18 inches, you can throw in some nice units with that, and as long as you move forwards, you're doing fine. I think most likely the way you're running this is with triple serrated claw, because it's only 45 points extra, and for 345 points, that's a really, really low to the ground unit. It's got a lot of really great stats. It's got 9 AP4 attacks on top of 4 AP1 ones. This is just like the monster that you bring on the board and push it forwards. If you're playing in a play group that doesn't have a lot of high defense stuff, you can just bring it as is for just 300 points.
Just 300.
Which is really not a lot.
So good. Well, as well, we've been speaking about these other units, which at their base loadout are nearly entirely 200 points or under. They very rarely spike above that. So, and again, talking about something we've spoken about in previous videos, we mainly focus on 2,000 points of Grimdark Future. 7 activations is really the sweet spot of what you're aiming for, but of course you've got the maximum of 10. If you want to have 10 activations in an army at 2,000 points, your average cost is 200 points. What we've spoken about is primarily 200 points and under. We bigged up the swarms because they are excellent. That's something that then lets you flex another unit into a slightly higher spot, and the Carnivo-Rex at 300 points for its base unit is really efficient.
Yeah, these are kind of like win a flank kind of things. If you're playing against Alien Hives, it's very likely you want to start bringing some heavy AP and some deadly, really, because cheap, affordable monsters like this that have the Dev 2 and have the fear and all that kind of stuff are just scary. They're really hard to shift. If someone brings 3 of these, yes, it's half their points, but they're then going to spend another 300, 400 points on Assault Grunts, which are going to cover all the weaknesses. And then they've still got, another like 600 points or something to spend.
Yeah.
So, this is quite a scary thing to see in a list. The one thing I will say about this, though, is poor little guy only has 3 heavy razor claws, and I think the model actually has 4.
Yeah, he does.
For some reason, he only has 3, so one of them is actually a false heavy razor claw.
But you don't know which one.
You don't. That's what makes him so effective. You think he's coming at you with the real one.
There you go.
Honestly, yeah, that's the fear too. That's also the fearless. He knows that he's got one up on you, or I guess one down on you, but
you don't know that. That's it. He's
you don't know that. Yeah, he's got an ego on him, this lad. So yeah, a good piece. I think triple serrated claw. Bring 2 of them. Probably not going to go wrong with that. That's an enormous amount of punch in your army. Alien Hive's thing is just like I can bring AP4 and have enough to deal with basically every single threat, and then the rest of my units had no retreat, and that's all good.
Yeah.
So this guy forms a pretty solid core of that, and also they get access to advanced tactics, which makes moving this guy out the board a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
One of the things that we can now start to really, as we're rounding out our analysis of the list, is we can talk about this big picture approach. Now, you've mentioned what if your core was 3 of these and then a load of grunts with no retreat. That's a really sweet core. I spoke about the brackets of that 200. If you're going for 10 activations, 200 on average. If you consider your pods to be 2 units, it's 400 points on average if you are going for 10 activations. This thing with upgrades and a unit of Hive Swarms, the 2 of them together would be roughly 400 points. We're still at that 10 activations. Why am I talking about this in units of 2? I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but considering that the current draft army update for Alien Hives is when within 9 inches of an allied unit you get AP +1, when you're building with that in mind, then things like how efficient the Carnivo-Rex and the rest of the army are really slots into place. If we get to September with the Alien Hives having a when within X inches of an ally get a buff type rule, like we currently do have, they can do that really nicely. You can have these cute pods of 1 terrifying and 1 tiny unit where you can get some excellent little mini combos off on the board.
Yeah, and also one swarm could cover 2 of these guys, right?
Exactly.
So it's not even like you need to pair them up, but yeah, I mean, you know, in a future world where that does land in OPR, this guy's running around with AP2 on all his weapons instead.
Yeah, he is.
And then you don't really need to upgrade him, right? Like AP2's quite a little bit better than AP1. And the AP4 then gets wasted, so you're really just like, okay, I'll just go to AP2. And then even the shooting then becomes really good as well. You get AP3, A12, right? You're not paying anywhere near as much, right? You're paying 60 points to get upgraded to AP3, when actually it costs a lot more.
AP3 Blast 3, that's great.
Oh,
that's
really
good.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot. AP1 Poison Reliable. All of these things just with that extra pip of AP become so exciting. I'm not going to dwell on it too much because we are in, magical Candyland here of are Alien Hives going to get this or not? We don't know until after the beta if that's for certain what they're getting. But it's a good thing just to think about as we're pushing into this time of change. So Carnivo-Rex, big thumbs up. We like this guy. Let's move on to his big brother, Toxico-Rex. 460 points gets you all of those lovely things we spoke about. On top of them, you get stealth, and you get that Shrouding Mist ability that we've spoken about with the Venom Beasts. You just get the ability to hand out stealth to 2 allied units, which is kind of cute to see on the unit. I think I'd rather it were an optional upgrade. You've got a different melee profile. It's got the Stomp, the A4 AP1. It's got the Whip Limb, which is here ace attacks with Poison and Reliable. And it's got an Acid Spurt ranged attack. 12 inches, A2, Blast 3, Poison. No Reliable, sadly. You can give it regeneration for 50 points. Now, we're so gassed about the Carnivo-Rex. Does the Toxico-Rex live up to standards?
This is one of those things I was talking about before, about how a lot of the Alien Hives list is very close to the ground. This is not a unit that's close to the ground.
Yeah. Because
stuff like Shrouding Mist is an optional. So Shrouding Mist we saw before cost 45 points. So this would be a 415 instead. And then you're kind of looking, okay, well, 415, stealth, decent-ish weapons. Okay, I'm starting to like this a little bit. But even at 415 points, Carnivo-Rex is still more efficient and gets way, way more punchy.
Yeah.
Now, never underestimate reliable. It makes a big difference to the output. Hits are way more important than AP. Doubling the number of hits you're hitting is way better than 1 AP.
Say that louder for the people in the back, by the way, because that is something that I think we maybe brush over. We don't emphasize that enough. That quality 2+ attack here is very important.
Yeah, it makes a big difference to its output. It obviously, it does make a difference when it's been fatigued. You're back down to Cold 6 like the rest of us, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately for Toxico-Rex, it doesn't look very good next to Carnivo-Rex.
Yeah, that's it.
Stealth is really, really good, but what stealth is really, really expensive as you get more tough.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a comparison, go look at some of the HDF vehicles. When they pay for stealth and they're paying like 60 points or something, right? So if you take off let's use 60 points as an example, 60 points for stealth, 45 points for Shrouding Mist, 105 points. All of a sudden we're back down to like 355 points.
Yeah.
And then it's looking like a pretty good body. You're like, oh, okay, right, this is kind of similar to Carnivo-Rex, but like it's a lot cheaper, right? Saving 100 points here, 100 points there is like extra units. So
there's a big difference, isn't it?
It's creeping up into the region where it's like, this is looking like a premium monster and we already have one of those at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Right, we can just go all the way back with the Hive Lord and take him instead, who
Yeah.
has 16 attacks, right,
Yeah.
and then quality 3, right. So
and quality 3 as well. I appreciate that both have fearless, but that quality 3 is a big difference. It may only
It's a
be
huge
a
difference.
16.5%, if that's roughly it, of improvement, but that does manifest quite effectively.
Yeah, a key thing about when we talk about like competitive OPR is a day of games is 4 or 5 games.
Yes,
And
this
to
is
win,
so
you
important.
need to not lose a game. And to not lose a game, you need to be consistent in the way you play, but also your army needs to perform consistently. And quality 4 is a coin flip, whereas quality 3 is lending your way, right? So min-maxing in this way and making sure you're picking the right units and picking the most effective way is a way of kind of like eking out a few more points to then get that efficiency and get that reliability in your army. And I think, unfortunately, 160 extra points for a Toxico-Rex, which is very likely to have the same impact as a base level Carnivo-Rex, is not worth the points.
Yeah. Well said, Harvey. If someone wants to take a clip of a good analysis between two units, I think that's the one. Harvey's hit on so many valuable points there. Let's move on to the middle child of the Rex trifecta, the Psycho-Rex. This is, again, tough 12, fear 2, fearless, 4-2, all these things. It also has stealth. Now, think about what Harvey's just said about how expensive stealth is on a tough 12 model. Think about that, because that will be driving the points towards this 445 entry point. It's got caster 3 baked in. Kind of cool. You can get a lot of casters into a single Alien Hives list. The weapon loadout, it comes with a 9-inch A2 AP1 Blast 3 reliable gun, so a 9-inch 2-shot heavy flamer. We like that, generally. This might be an expensive one, though. And then in combat, it's got 10 attacks AP1. Upgrades, you can give it regen, as we've seen. You can double the range on that flamer, like we saw with the Synapse Tyrant. And then you can upgrade it with the similar things to what we've seen on the Synapse Tyrant. Pheromones. Really nice to see that as an option, not on a hero. That's really good. Psi Barrier, we're probably not taking that. And Regenerator, the +1 to regeneration thing, which is kind of fun because you can also just put it on yourself, and that's quite nice as well. The Psycho-Rex, it's unique. I like it more than a Toxico-Rex. I think I still like it less than a Carnivo-Rex.
Yeah, so if you've seen the HDF video, you know that we like the commander upgrade for the tank.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it
we
means
do.
that it's doing more than just what a tank does. And this pheromones buff is actually really good. I was talking before about this whole like playing passive and buffing up things with regeneration playstyle, which I don't think is very good if you're using Synapse Beasts and such. But if you're using something like a Psycho-Rex with pheromones on it, then it's like 500 points, but all of a sudden it becomes this kind of like core central piece to your army,
Really big
where
strategic
you're going
piece,
to cast regen and you're going to be moving stuff around the board with it. And then it becomes a lot more interesting, really. I don't know if it's better than a Carnivo-Rex with a veteran warrior with pheromones on it instead. But I think if you wanted to play a more durable playstyle, then this is a good start for it, right? I think this in itself is quite hard to kill in the same way Toxico-Rex is because of the stealth. But it also then does regeneration stuff. Yeah, so I think this is an easy piece to underestimate, but it basically becomes your commander piece. It's the same as if you wanted to do that. You do the same thing with a Hive Lord.
Yeah, exactly what I was about to say, right? This is a Hive Lord. I mean, so the Hive Lord, and I can't remember if we've brushed over this, is completely unique in OPR because it can have caster and that pheromones effect. You don't get caster and that anywhere else. You now get it on the Hive Lord and on the Psycho-Rex, which is kind of cute. But the Psycho-Rex, because it's got built-in stealth, because caster isn't an option, because it's quality 4, and then it's got this quite feeble flamer for its points cost, I think instead of a Psycho-Rex, I'd rather just take a Hive Lord.
So the Hive Lord is the
build
more
it
aggressive
better.
version. Yeah, like you'll get something a lot more aggressive out of the Hive Lord, and if that's what you're looking for, then brilliant. If you're looking for something slightly more passive, then obviously stealth is going to pay quite a lot, and the regen
Very valid.
stuff is is the same as if you were blocking a Hive Lord, but your Hive Lord's much likely to be in danger. So, and you can even take the regenerator buff thing as well. I think, is it like, how many points is it?
20
like,
points.
20 points, yeah. Which I don't think is that bad either. So this is a much more defensive version of a Hive Lord. I think likely it's a leave it at home because the Hive Lord exists, and once again we prefer our aggression to defensive play.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think it's a complete write-off. But in terms of the Rex brothers, we're looking at Mr. Carnivro.
Carnivro. Yeah, Carnivo-Rex pips it as our favourite of the Rex trio. Well done, Mr. Carnivo, being so efficient. You're excellent. So, continuing with the last unit that is within the category of vehicles and monsters, we have the Invasion Carrier Spore. If you are a Battle Brothers player, think drop pods, because this is good fun.
Yep.
160 points, cheap, gets you a 4-2, tough 6, fearless, slow thing. Bit of a head scratcher here. Transport 11, so we know what we're doing with it, and ambush. So this is an ambushing transport. So you don't really care if it's slow and fearless and tough 6 because it's going to do its job. It has got 6 attacks AP 1. It's got the regeneration upgrade. You can give it guns as well, but I don't think you're doing that really. We'll come on to see what you say in a minute there, Harvey. I personally wouldn't. It's really cool. It's really unique.
Yeah.
I'm not so excited by it though in Alien Hives.
Yeah, so that is basically the big point about this. I don't know what you're putting in this thing. Alien Hives doesn't have enough that really wants this effect. Other armies would love this effect. And I think this thing has the best keyword in the game in slow. It just makes it cheaper, right? And it's ambushing in anyway, so it's already going to be near the objectives. And from there, like, slow doesn't matter. It's just a discount, right? This is a really, really, really cheap Transport 11.
Really
right?
cheap.
And it's really, really hard to kill before it gets there because...
effective.
Yeah, you can ambush with it, and you don't need to activate it, right? Like, if the thing you're unloading has guns, then your first activation is the thing with guns, so the transport's never a risk. So it's quite unique in that. So I think this is a really, really good unit. I just don't see it being used in Alien Hives, right? Like, the best thing you could do with this is perhaps put some shooter grunts in it as a way of getting them up the board. But like, if we look back through the units available, the only other thing you might ever put in here is Hive Warriors, because they have that 12-inch gun. Or maybe Hive Guardians, but they have an 18-inch gun, right? So how close do they want to be?
Yeah.
They lose their relentless when they step out the vehicle. So yeah, it's such a weird piece because there isn't really a lot that wants to be sent up the board like this in that way. Now you could obviously just ignore that and just stick a bunch of assault grunts in it, and that's still a good combo because this thing has slow, so it like lands and it can move, and it doesn't need to get into melee combat. It just needs to move close enough to then threaten them, and then you can then unload your payload. I don't think it's a winning strategy. I don't think it's amazing, but I think this thing is a really good unit, but I just don't think it has a place. As for upgrading the range weapons, I'm not seeing it. I think I'm a fan of having range weapons on stuff like this because it lets them do stuff when they couldn't do stuff. Because it's slow and like it's not got the most amazing melee profile. It actually really appreciate having guns, but you reach the point where you're like, okay, well, I mean, if I want a really good gun, then I'm probably sticking the barb cannon array, maybe the shredder gun array, and already those are quite expensive. So I think it's probably leave it at home. The old Invasion Carrier Spore, unfortunately. It joins the rest of the Spore gang firmly at home.
Yeah. Some inspirational words there as well from Harvey. It lets you do stuff when you couldn't do stuff. Amazing.
Yeah. That's
also, there's an interesting thing here, right? Ambush and slow normally sucks. Slow is good because it makes your units cheaper. Obviously, movement and OP are very important. So, and as well, important line to draw here, because we still say relentless sucks. But here, ambush and slow is not so bad. Normally when you're ambush and slow, it's annoying because you have to deploy over 9 inches away and you can't charge them with your 8-inch charge. This thing doesn't care. But ultimately, as Harvey says, it's probably staying at home because there's just not enough good stuff to put in it. So, another Spore that's not really going to make it with us in the final cut. Good fun, but I mean, there's also, hold on a second, how about the pure humour of sticking 10 spores in an invasion carrier spore?
Yeah, so this is kind of the everything's a spore thing I was talking about before, right? That's definitely the strategy you use because it's a perfect carrier for spores. Does it win you games? No. Do you have to paint a bunch of spores? No. You can just use like the lollipops and stuff. Blue lollipops to stands, and you've got a full army in about 15 minutes.
Oh.
So, you also have nothing to lose by bringing the all spore strat. So,
Also,
I think, fun versus time committed. Spores on top.
Spores up there. Is it? Oh, I'm pretty sure it's someone in our Discord, although it might be in the UK OPR Discord instead. I'm pretty sure it's in ours. Has done a wonderful situation of bringing their children into play OPR by using, I think, their Minecraft minis and Lego and things like that. And one of the things that they've done is bring creeper models from Minecraft, and I presume they're running them as spores. Brilliant. Beautiful artistry, wonderful way of getting your kids into the game, and if you want to traumatize them, or traumatize your opponent in a way like this, having your invasion carrier spore filled with spores do their thing could be quite fun.
Super cool.
Super cool. Lovely. Let's move on to the invasion artillery spore. Quite similar to the carrier spore. We've got an ambush tough 6 4-2. It's 200 points. It's fearless. This one is immobile and it is entrenched. So it has to hit where it wants to stay forever the turn it comes in, noting, of course, that you can move it with pheromones. It's got the spore gun that we've already spoken about and we don't love on the Spore Beast. And you can then replace it with a spawn effect. And you've got extra guns and regeneration, but it's really the spawn effects that's why you're bringing it. Because you've got the spawn spores, which we've spoken about and we think is quite good. But this one, you can actually spawn massive spores. So just good, hilarious fun. It's another... This is a sneaky transport rather than an express transport.
Yeah. So, yeah, do a couple of things here. Obviously, a mobile is really bad.
Really bad. If you think we
with
don't
ambush,
like Relentless,
obviously.
folks, let me tell you about a mobile.
Yeah, Relentless is please use the hold action. This is you must use the hold action. So, the problem with the mobile here. So this is a great unit if you can ambush it onto an objective. Because it's Def 2, it's got Entrench, so you're literally never shooting it off the board. It's got Fearless, so it's hard to move when it does hit morale. It needs to be charged really for anything to get rid of it. And the chance of you wiping out a single charge is low. So that's all looking very promising. You could even take regeneration on it, some spawns, whatever you want, right? Then all of a sudden you've got a really, really great objective holder. If you can't do that, if your enemy block off this spawning on an objective, which you can play around, you can put objectives in places where they wouldn't be able to get to round one, then what you have is a really, 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 really expensive piece that's going to do nothing for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're never going to charge it.
Swarms, right?
Yeah, they're never going to charge it, so you can never charge them. And you're going to be shooting one shot on a 4-up once per turn. So on average, you're getting, 12 hits across the game. If you're at bang average, and that's assuming you can shoot things where Blast 6 is taking effect. You probably aren't. Yeah, so I think this one goes in the bin. Well and truly, this is firmly in the bin. There's no way this comes out of the bin. This is staying in the bin forever. If you've got a cool mini for this, run it as a carrier spore instead.
Yeah.
There's just there is literally no reason to ever take this. I mean, we've never really found any artillery in the game we're really hot on.
Yeah.
Because they tend to be like these massively defensive things when actually you want to be massively aggressive things. But this is probably the worst of the artillery we've ever reviewed in this channel. So
yeah. Sorry, invasion artillery spore. In the bin. That rounds it out. That rounds out our real bulk of the core ones. We're going to move on to some big boys now, and then an aircraft. We're going to start with the miniest Titan that I think I know about that is still so regularly played at 2K. There are obviously a couple here that we'll go through that you can still use at 2K points. We're talking about the Titans primarily focusing on 3K and above. But we've got to talk about the Boogeyman, the Burrower. Let's go over this. It's recently taken a nerf, so we can talk about that. 590 points gets you a tough 18, quality 4, defense 2 piece. It is fear 3, because this is where the scaling fear to tough 6-1 comes. It is fearless, so this is a good thing. And it has surprise attack 3, which is this model counts as having ambush and may be deployed up to 1 inch away from enemy units instead of the usual 9. Once deployed, you roll X dice, so 3 dice, and for each 4+, one enemy unit within 3 inches takes 2 hits with AP 1. Importantly, this has been nerfed. It used to be, I think, on a 2+ to take the hits, and I think it used to be 3 hits, not 2. So it has recently been given a bit of a setback. That being said, this thing comes with 4 heavy razor claws, 3 attacks each, and then 6 attacks out of its stomp. It comes in with a big 18 attacks, which when you're ambushing 1 inch away, you can have lots of choices of target. You can give it the whip limbs for poison reliable, so you can actually crank it right the way up to 22 attacks. It can be very scary because of the surprise attack. I think the recent nerf really has brought it down a lot.
So what I will say about the Burrower is the Burrower is a bit like that scene in the Phantom Menace where the bigger fish eats the smaller fish that's trying to eat the thing, right? So the Burrower is absolutely terrifying if you have gone out of your way to spend a lot of points on a model, because this thing's going to eat
bigger
it,
fish,
right?
right?
Yeah, it's the bigger fish. It's going to come down. You can't block it. It's going to maybe get a couple of surprise hits on it. It's probably going to be full serrated claw, because why would you not spend the extra 60 points, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to come down with all those attacks, AP2, AP4, and Fear 3, and Fearless, and it's just going to absolutely mulch whatever your big target is, right? If you've got a tank, the tank's disappearing, right? This thing is designed to do exactly that, and it's to kill those big targets. If you don't have those things, then this is just like going to walk around the board killing things, but it's not fast, so it's not that mobile. If you're thinly spread, it's going to really struggle to find its value. So
no Strider.
This is no Strider, yeah. So it can't play with difficult terrain. You can just block it with units, right? It's got no way of
flying.
It's not flying. Now obviously you can give it flying through the spellcasting list, but we're reviewing this as its own thing. This is a really, really expensive piece, and it's going to either win you the game or lose you the game.
Yeah.
So I rate this quite poorly. It's quality 4, right? It's very, very easy for you to rock up with your, how many dice is it? Well, if you've got 18 dice there, 18 dice there, and roll below average and get 8 hits, right? That's only slightly below average. They save half of them, and you're like, right, well, cool, that's good. I guess I've done 4 hits with my Burrower. It's very easy for that to happen with quality 4. Quality 4 is just so reliable, and obviously it's equally as likely to go the other way around. But this thing should be destroying things, right? If it's not destroying things, there's a problem. If it's destroying things, it doesn't matter how much it destroys them by, right? If you roll 18 hits of your 18 attacks and it destroys something, well, it didn't matter, right? It could have rolled 10 hits. But when it rolls less than average and it doesn't destroy something, and it's not taking an activation every time it activates, it's a massive liability. So this thing is very strong. It's very polarizing. But and therefore, I think it's probably not very healthy for the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a complete monstrous terror. It's just very, very scary against certain lists, which almost makes it something you want to take all the time, because it will win games for you, like by default against some lists, and against other lists it will lose games for you. So I wouldn't ever bring this thing to a tournament, because I think there's the chance you run against like an infected colonies player who's just got zombies, and you're like, oh, I'm going to charge my 670 point unit or whatever it's going to be, 650 point unit into your zombies and not kill them because they've got regen. So it's too likely to do shit in those matchups. So
for such an expensive investment, there is such an expected chance that it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and I also think that surprise attack, I think close ambush, this you ambush within 1 inch instead of 9 inches, whatever. I don't think this is actually very strong. Like if you're taking Warning Cry to counter this, I don't think that's worth it because I don't think the rider now it's been nerfed is not that strong.
Yeah.
And this thing being put where it needs to be put is nice because it doesn't have mobility later on, but it's not like crazy nice, right? Like it's not going to stop it from doing its thing most likely. So yeah, I think this would be more balanced if it had ambush, because then you could shield it away from your high priority targets, which you can't currently do. But then I think that would also push it into just being bad. I think this thing just needs looking at really. I like the thing about Alien Hives is exactly what we see in front of us right now. This replaced any heavy claws thing. Basically every single unit in the whole list has this collection of 5 weapons that it can upgrade with, and that's a lot. And it means that like they can get AP where they need it, and having something that can pop up on top of the target where it needs the AP makes this very effective and removes a lot of strategy from the game, where otherwise you might rely on pheromones to get in or whatever, and actually play the activation game. This thing's not really doing it, so it's definitely a problem piece.
Right, we talk about this a lot. Options in OPR are so valuable. There's that double aspect point, right? The chess thing we've spoken about, the threat of doing something is almost as powerful as doing it. But then also the ability to choose so many things is what makes it so good that you can do it in whatever way you need it to be done for your list building. And this is really, we're starting to talk now about one of the many reasons, but one of the big reasons why Alien Hives is so strong. There are very few weaknesses in the list. The weaknesses in the list are a spore spellcasting list, a spore spellcasting list, a poor spellcasting list, and a poor roster of heroes. These are the things that hold it back from just outright being the best in the game. It's got access to undead, lots of fearless scattered, but also you can cover your weaknesses in your list. You don't have access to a high AP that can access the enemy units you need it to. Kabam, here's a Burrower. Thank you very much. You don't have access to chaff that you need to take your objectives and screen. You do, you've got all the grunts. Backline access through fast and strider and ambush and easy scout, and all of these things are just there, and this is another demonstration of it really for the Alien Hives. And it is polarizing. You're not so hot on it, but you also love a go wide strategy. I love a big chunky strategy, and this thing can eat me up for that reason.
Yeah, I think what this thing is as well is we've spoken about it in the past, but tough 18 dev 2 is just too much to kill.
It is too much to
If
kill.
you start committing resources to this, you're going to lose the game, because instead of taking away valuable activations from your opponent, you're just like slowly whittling this thing down, and that makes it basically there's no point even targeting it at 2,000 points.
Yeah.
You will not have the firepower, and if you do have the firepower to take this thing down, you should be pointing it somewhere else. You should be pointing it at the other, 2/3 of the list. I don't know what you do with this unit to make it more fair.
That's what I was going to ask you next, right?
At 2,000 points, I think the best thing, we're already at a point in the game where 90% of the Titans can't be run at 2,000 points.
Yeah.
I think it would be completely reasonable if Force Org let you run 1 Titan per 2,500 points available. Lets you run them at 3k, doesn't let you run them at 2k, and you go 5k, you can run 2 Titans or whatever, but it means that, when you're running these 3k games, if Burrow's scary and they have 2 of them, then that's a pain in the ass. But if they have 1, then you might still be able to do something about that. So I think actually a limit on the Titans would be the most suitable balancing decision for this. And then, I don't know what else you can really do without fundamentally changing what this unit does. If you nerfed it down to ambush, I think that would just be a buff because it'd be cheaper. So yeah, I think if you got rid of its AP4 access, then that would be a pretty big nerf to it, and I think that would probably solve a lot of the problems people have with it. So that is an option, but obviously that we see this throughout the Alien Hives list. So I think that in general needs reworking. I don't think every unit should have access to AP4 in a list.
Yeah. Well, it has access to everything, right? It's got access to poison reliable if you wanted this to be a chaff killer. It's got access to rending. So rending and poison on 2 different profiles for ignoring regen. AP1 good, AP1 rending very good. It's got AP2 blast 3. It's got AP2 deadly 3, and of course the AP4 that we're talking about. These things just have the choice of doing everything, so you can cover all your weaknesses.
Yeah.
So Burrower, divisive piece, But there's a lot to talk about because it does a lot, and it is able to do it where you want because of this close ambush. So yeah, there we go. Let's keep going into some of the more varied Titans that we've got. We're into Harvey's favourite class of model, something called Beast. Here's a spawning beast for you. This is a 630 point, tough 18, fearless, fear 3, 4, 2 model. In melee, it's got 12 attacks, 6 of them AP1, 6 of them AP2. At shooting, it's got a rapid stinger launcher, 18 inches, 18 attacks with rending. Big fun at 630 points. You upgrade with one of 3 options. They're all spawn options. We've spoken about how we like that. You've got spawn a unit of 3 Hive Swarms for 70 points. Good. That's, good efficient punching. A unit of Assault Grunts for 140 points, or a unit of Shooter Grunts for 140 points. And you can give this thing regeneration for extra hilarity. This is good fun. I like this.
Yeah, I like this piece as well. I think for 3, fearless, good. Tough 18, def 2, nice, right? This is a real objective player. You're going to be shooting with that A18 gun the whole game, and it's not going to do amazing, but it's going to do okay. And then on the last turn, this thing's going to be stood on a point. You're going to poop out a Hive Swarm. The Hive Swarm's going to rush onto a point, and you're going to be happy with it. You're not going to be pooping out Assault Grunts or Shooter Grunts because they're spawn, you don't get access to no retreat, and they don't have fearless. Mm-hmm. So actually, Hive Swarms are the only really useful ones there, because really you're not going to swing a game by spawning an Assault Grunt unit or a Shooter Grunt unit. They just don't have the damage profile with their base setup.
Yeah.
So
that Qual 5 a real thing there.
Yeah, like Qual 5 A2, right? That's basically what they've got. So they're not really good enough. So yeah, this is the highest one thing. This is it's an interesting thing to exist. I mean, like, you just don't take it if there's a Burrower on the table, right? Like, this is not aggressive enough, and the Burrower will probably do better. So I think this is an interesting piece that's kind of caught between a couple of different worlds, but it's like the ultimate hybrid unit. It's like designed to play. It's going to walk up the board because it's tough and it's got fear 3. It's going to shoot things where it can shoot things. It's not going to have the best defensive profile. And then at the end of the game, it's going to play a bunch of objectives between itself, which could potentially play 2 objectives because it's such a big base, and then a unit of Hive Swarms, which could actually also potentially play 2 objectives. So, that's how you're playing this thing.
Yeah.
So it's a good unit if you like to play a kind of like slower, take the objective style game. Which, I've mentioned a couple of times, you can play very defensively with Alien Hives. I don't think it's their best way of playing, but you could play it, and this would be a good starting point.
Yeah. So, Spawning Beast, a good objective piece. Let's move on to the Tyrant Beast. This guy is 590 points for a 4-2 fear 3 fearless tough 18. It's got another 18 attack gun. It's 24 inches this time with AP nothing, no special rules. It's got like 12 attacks in melee I've spoken about. It's got regeneration, and then you can upgrade it with an extra 6 shots at 18 inches with rending for 60 points, and you can replace its A18 24-inch gun. Really, I'm looking at this top one. The Toxic Spray is very good. 20 points for an 18-inch A8 AP1 gun. That's just a very nice profile. And a Fracture Cannon, 30 inches, A3, AP3, Deadly 6. That Deadly 6 makes me want to leave it at home. But if you're bringing a big beastie and you want some Dakka, this thing with a Toxic Spray and a Stinger Launcher, an 18-inch monster here, with 24 shots going out.
Yeah, so split damage profile, which is good for a range thing. It can hit 2 different targets. That's good. One thing I will say about Deadly 6 is Deadly 6 is a lot better than Blast 6.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think the threats that are at the Tough 6 level are brought, and I think Tough 3 in general is not very good. So actually, like, Deadly 6 isn't that bad. We'd still rather see twice as much Deadly 3. Absolutely, 1000%. It's still definitely worse than Deadly 3. But compared to the Blast thing, I think it's not as bad. Because also Deadly 6 has a nice little bonus in that if you shoot something with regen, Deadly 3 is kind of hard countered by it, because they're on average going to make 1 save, and then your next Deadly 3 also goes into the same unit.
Yeah.
Whereas this is basically guaranteed to absolutely blast whatever's in front of you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of good, I guess. But yeah, I think this is just a little bit too confused. It doesn't play objectives as well as the Spawning Beast. It's slightly more aggressive range profile. AP1 versus Rending is, whatever really. I think it's kind of like a personal preference thing. Obviously, rending lets you punch a little bit higher than perhaps you would do normally against certain units, whereas AP1's very consistent. And then obviously, the Stinger Launcher for an extra 60 points on top of that gives it that split damage profile, which is good. So this is a weird unit because, in general, we don't really want our tough 18 things doing shooting, just because shooting's expensive and tough 18 is expensive, so you end up with a really expensive unit. So, and you don't tend to be using your tough if you're shooting. So yeah, once again, the same story as always. This thing has to be moving up the board. It has to be 6-inching every single turn. Forwards towards your opponent, it has to be soaking. So if you want your opponent to be trying to kill this while it tries to get value out of his guns, because if all it does is shoots, it's literally never going to get 670 points of value.
Yep. Very good Tyrant Beast. Kind of fun for shooting, but not maybe as good in a strictly competitive sense as the Spawning Beast. The Devourer Beast, 625 points, gets you the exact same profile on special rules and quality and defense we've spoken about. This one has got, in combat, 4 heavy Razor Claws, the same thing we've spoken about already with the Burrower. It's got the Stomp, A6, AP2, and it's got a very interesting little ranged attack here. It's Tongue, gross, 12 inches, 3 attacks, AP2, Deadly 3, Sniper. First time we're seeing Sniper, not entirely for the whole list, you can get it on Shooter Grunts and I think Wing Grunts, but first time we're seeing it and it's mandated. It's you cannot change this. You can replace the 4 heavy Razor Claws, same loadout, you can give it regen. Kind of hilarious, you've got this Tongue Sniper really on the Devourer Beast, but otherwise it's a bit more of a big Carnivo-Rex.
Yeah, this is not as good as the other ones, I think. All this thing really does is highlight the clear weirdness that is having these beasts all split out from each other. Right, they feel like the same thing, right? Like they're all separate units, but really they're like one slight variation of each other. This thing has the Tongue, the other thing has the Stinger Launcher, the other thing has the Biopods. They all have the same profile. They have 4-2, they have Fear 3, Fearless, Tough 18.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's just like, okay, it's more of what we've already seen. This is a worse version because, yeah, I mean, you're going to pop people with that little deadly sniper tongue thing.
It's kind of funny. It's really quite funny.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's not as good as just shooting, is it really? Sorry, just charging. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's got an extra 6-inch range because of movement, but yeah, I mean, this will be just as effective as the other ones, most likely, because they're all kind of just like big, stompy things, and their special thing is not that special.
Yeah. Very good. Devourer Beast, unfortunately. The Spawning Beast is the one that's kind of winning out here, that with the Burrower. Next up, so we've had Spawning, Tyrant and Devourer, have an Artillery Beast. This is going to be something we've already spoken about in at least the theory of it. 725 points for this big one. Same sort of same special rules, same quality defense. 12 attacks in combat I've spoken about. This has got a 36-inch A3 Blast 6 rending gun, but we've got indirect. You can replace that gun with some other interesting ones, but they're all 100 points or more, so we're getting very, very expensive. The interesting one, I think, is this Spitter Bioartillery, a 36-inch A6 AP1 Blast 3 gun for 100 points. Still indirect, no reliable. I'm afraid that the Artillery Beast is personifying really what you've spoken about here. High toughness, lots of shooting, very expensive.
Yeah, it's just too expensive to get value, really, I think. Because what you really like is the indirect deadly thing, because that's going to kill big things, and they can probably do it on turn 1 or whatever, and then the blasting is going to kill small things, so it kind of works out. Like, it's going to kill things because it's got indirect and long range. You can't avoid it. But also, is it going to be able to kill 800, 900 points worth of things? Probably not, right? Yeah. Like, especially the lower attack ones, right? Because at Qual 4, you're just as likely to just roll a single Blast 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? With no AP if you don't get the rending proc. That's a pathetic amount of damage to be doing with a 700-point unit.
Just imagine round 1 where you have to move up for some reason, and you're shooting at 5s and you get no hits. And then round 2, you low roll and you get 1 hit with Blast 6. You've gone half the game for maybe 6 hits here. And it's AP nothing on the base profile. So, Artillery Beast, cool. in theory, tough 18 makes it too expensive here.
Yeah,
So
another thing that could just be rolled up into the beasts, right?
yeah, exactly.
Like it could literally be one just called a Titanic Beast with 4 different upgrades.
Yep. So Artillery Beast in the bin. And finally, rounding out the Titans, we have got a Hive Titan. This is a tough 24 model. It's a 3-2, so a good profile. Fear 4. It comes with regeneration baked in. It's 930 points. And its weapons, we've got 12 attacks AP 2 and 3 attacks AP 4, deadly 6. You can upgrade it with Toxic Breath for 12-inch A12 poison. That's 85 points though on this tough 24 model. You can give it Explosive Spit, 36 inches for an A2 AP2 Blast 6 gun for an additional 240 points. I don't think we're doing either of those. But hilariously, you can give it one of these upgrades. You can give it Acid Blood for Corrosive, which, when it takes a wound in melee, the attacker takes 1 hit. That's quite funny. You can give it Flying. That's quite funny on a tough 24, no fast, no slow kind of model. I don't know, I just think that's quite cumbersome, but hilarious. But you can give it Transport 21 for 65 points. So there's a Vengabus strategy here, I'm sure, at 3,000 points. But I don't know if we're taking it, really.
Yeah, so this is just insane, isn't it, really? I mean, it like 35% is the cap for how much you can spend. So you can only actually spend 1,050 points. So you can't even get some of these upgrades.
Oh my god, yeah, at 3,000 points, yeah.
Yeah, so Transport 21, I mean, okay, so if you're taking a Hive Tyrant, a Hive Titan, you're playing silly points. Just take all the fucking upgrades on it, right? Like, let it do something every single turn. If you've spent all those points, you might as well spend an extra 100 or something just to have it do something on the turns where it wouldn't normally be able to. Why is it only upgraded 1? I've got no idea, right? Like, come on, we're already taking the piss by taking this unit. Why are we just being like, oh, but you can only have Corrosive or Flying or Transport?
Give it everything.
Yeah, exactly. If you're taking Transport, just fill it full of Spores, lad. Honestly, like, just take 4 units of Spores, put them all in there, and then put inside this thing a Veteran Warrior
with pheromones.
Pheromones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is how it gets fast, right? And in fact, it can even get you could put like 3 of them in there, and you could turn one be in their face, right? That's hilarious. That's the reason to take Transport 21. It's way better than Flying, right?
Oh, because of the way it works out, you can have 2 units of massive Spores. Oh no, 2 units. Yeah, 2 units of massive Spores, so that's 18, and 3 Hive Warriors with pheromones. Veteran
yeah,
Warriors,
but I think you just take 3 Hive Warriors. Sorry, what are they called? The Veteran Warriors. With pheromones in stacks of Spores, right? For the same strategy as we spoke about in the Ratman video, where you just like unload them, and the Spores let them win combat. I think that's probably what you do here, and then you just triple pheromones this guy out the board every 18-inch movement with his own movement on top of that. Yeah, that's how you play this guy. Transport 21, by far better than the other 2. Just have this guy flying around the map. And I mean, I don't know how many even heroes you can get at that point. Is it 5, 6? It's probably 6.
I have no idea.
So I think you probably get 4 copies of a unit, so you probably get 4 of those guys in instead. So yeah, sweet. Load them up, send them out, get them going. The best Titan on this list by far.
Best Titan.
Does something the Burrower can't do. The Burrower can't move 30 inches in a turn.
That's mad. I love it. Alright, so that's the bottom of the Titans. Let's go back into something that is a bit more in line with normality. The Rapacious Beast, this is an aircraft, so already it is nigh on unkillable. Another asterisk feeding back into the whole, hey, have you joined the Patreon? Might be some changes to aircraft coming in September, discussed today, I think it was, in the Patreon chats. Go forth, subscribe to Patreon, give OPR a fiver once if you want to go have a look, and have the month worth of fun. The Rapacious Beast, it's an aircraft, 190 points for a tough 6 aircraft. It is a quality 4 defense 2. Hilariously, it's got Fearless. Very, very... I don't think I've ever seen an aircraft make a morale check. Like, have to take one. No. That's just aircraft for you. It's guns. It's got a 12-inch A2 Blast 3 reliable gun. It has got a Spore bomb, a 6-inch A1 Blast 6, exploding spores, the reroll ones, and defense thing. So, quite, as far as it goes, I think quite a fair offensive profile. Aircraft can have 200% damage output per wound, so this does hit that exactly, but being short range with the restricted movement of aircraft, it's not too unfair. There are more unfair aircraft out there. You can give it regeneration. Don't do that. Aircraft are already nearly unkillable. You can replace the 12-inch gun with a 30-inch A2 AP2 Blast 3 gun. No reliable. You can also get a deadly lock-on one. Don't do that. You can replace the Spore bomb with an 18-inch A3 gun, which is kind of cute. A 36-inch A2 AP3 lock-on gun, which is kind of cute, but that's not why we're doing it. This is the point, folks, where I was saying pay attention to the spawn rule, because you can give it spawn spores for 90 points. Suddenly, we're finding the broken thing about this, where you can transport in a unit of spores and drop it round 1 if you want, or you can just cart it around the board all game and drop it at the end.
Yeah, I think, so Dave mentioned before that we went to a tournament recently where I challenged him to bring a couple of things, and the Rapacious Beast is one of them, and specifically the Spore spawning variant. And I mean, you can give your review of it, I guess. How did you find the unit?
Really good. The whole list, I'll drop it in the Discord later rather than dwelling on it now, because it's a hard list to play, but I can drop it in the Discord for anyone who wants it. The whole list was very tricksy. I had pheromones in there, I was 10 activations, I had this thing with its spores, I had a unit of Hive Guardians with guns, I had a unit of support beasts. I was knackered by the end of the day. If I didn't have my friend Andy, shout out Andy at Spymaster Gaming, go check out his channel. If I didn't have him in the car with me on the way home, I'd have fallen asleep at the wheel. I was so tired. This was one of the things where, because it was a constant threat of an objective piece to just annoy my opponents with, it was excellent. The threat of doing something is so valuable and is as good as doing it. I actually only did the objective shenanigans twice, I think, maybe even once. I didn't have to do it because the list was just good. It was tight. It had toolkits to do anything I wanted it to, and so I only ended up doing it once. But it was that in all of my games, if I had fallen behind on objectives, my final activation with this thing could have been to drop the spores on an objective and win the game with it. Really cannot overstate how powerful that is.
Yeah,
there's been
there's a little bit of complexity to it because spawn is at the start of an activation.
Yeah,
you do need to end up on the objective at the start of round 4.
Round 3.
But once again, this is the end of round 3 to the start of round 4. You need to be on it. So the complexity here is it's weird because one, you're telegraphing where you're going to put your spores, but if you have more activations than them, they literally can't do anything about it. Right, the spores are going to land, they're going to take the objective, and then the Rapacious Beast is going to fly off and influence somewhere else on the board. So this is like actually a really, really scary thing to have. And like the fact that it loses its like 6-inch range, qual 4, blast 6 gun for it is not that bad at all. You're most likely going to get that off like what? Probably going to get 2 opportunities at once a game that'll go off, compared to the Spore thing, which is guaranteed to do some good damage. 10 hits is probably just better than getting 6 hits with AP1.
There's also that, which is what I used this thing for twice.
Yeah.
I just went in and dropped my load and did 10 hits and annoyed an enemy unit, forced a morale check. Well, I couldn't force a morale check, but like forced some armor checks, some defense checks, weakened them in combat. Like, you've just got the options with it. There was a big conversation recently, or I say a big conversation recently, there was a post in Balance Feedback about transport and aircraft, and this is the same situation, really. You can just, with no holdback, you can deploy a unit out of a moving vehicle that is nigh on untouchable and has huge range threat at every single point of the game. So it's really powerful. It is really powerful as this Rapacious Beast with spawn spores.
Also, I think I undersold it then. I said you needed to be on top of the objective. You need to be within 18 inches of the objective because the spores get to activate, right? So it's extremely easy to threaten multiple points with this. So this is a really interesting piece. It has Beast in the name, so you take one of them. As is law in Alien Hives. Maybe that's what our first list will be. It'll be the Beast list.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I also think you could run the Rapacious Beast as is for 190 points. It's threatening enough. It'll kill lots of chaff, and I think you can probably make that work on its own. I don't think you need to do the Spore if you don't like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall just a pretty tight aircraft. I mean, we like to see qual 3 on our aircraft, but this thing's got reliable instead. So, you take them.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, again, aircraft, another situation of abusing it. Obviously, this thing's got Fearless, so it is spending points on a useless ability. But if it didn't have Fearless, it would be even cheaper. It would have quality 2 attack profile, and it doesn't matter that it could literally be quality 6. And that would just be breaking it more because it's only using the quality for the only thing that aircraft ever does. And if you play in a meta where people bring lock on, fine, then it would suck. But it just doesn't. And we see lock on so infrequently because lock on is barred behind these high AP, high range, deadly 3 weapons, so they're expensive. Rapacious Beast, very, very good. The last couple of pieces before we go on to doing some list building, and thank you for sticking with us, folks. I know this is another long one for you. The narrative heroes. We have Vradhez, 145 points for a 3/4, caster 2, fast, hero, scout, strider, tough 3, unique, and then he is for the Hive. Because he's this fast scout strider, this guy is quite like the Snatchers. I haven't actually looked at the model for Vradhez, but I would presume he is a Snatcher.
He is, yeah.
And then, look at this lovely ability. Once per this unit's activation, pick 2 friendly units within 12, which gets Furious, and if they already had Furious, they get Expanded Furious. This guy's sweet. If you're playing Soul Snatchers,
even if you're not, I think that's a nice buff to have in an army. It's only 135 points, is it, compared to 125?
145 points compared to 125.
So, yeah, so his weapon profile, he's got 1 less attack. But yeah, he's got a lot going from this guy. That buff is really good. You literally just play this guy at the back the whole time. You just buff all your units at the start of the game. Round 2, you can go for an enhanced regen if you want to, or you can hold it back for some hits should you need them. He's fast, so he can get where he needs to be. Fast plus caster is a lot of threat range. Really, really solid unit. Yeah, if you play narrative heroes, which I think is going to start to become more of a norm, we are getting quite a lot of them now.
Yeah, I love it. By the way, Eternal Dynasty having 6? That's just regardless of whatever they do, that is fun. That's cool. That's the flavour of OPR coming through.
I do wish we didn't get 6. I wish we'd got less than 6. I wish we'd got 2 and then the rest of them elsewhere. But when you have your own IP, I guess you make dudes for it.
Exactly right. Vradhez.
Plus, they've just released a big monkey guy, so that's kind of cool.
We'll come on to the Eternal Dynasties at some point, and we can talk about the lovely monkey there. But for now, Vradhez, big thumbs up, excellent hero. Well done, Vradhez, you're good. And Druzhak, or Druzhak, I don't know. 135 points gets you a 4/4. This is the Hive Warrior one. A 4/4 fearless, tough 6 unique hero. He's got the Carapace Fist, 2 attacks AP4, 6 attacks AP1 rending. So he's punching up here. This guy's 8 attacks.
Good profile. Born
for War. It's Predator from the Saurians and the Saurian Star Host. For each unmodified roll to 6, you get +1 attack with that weapon. Do you know what's hilarious? Vradhez and Druzhak are best mates. On the battlefield.
I was about to say that. Their little combo is good. I mean, if you could run these guys in skirmish, you'd probably love them.
100%.
They're too expensive for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I think Druzhak's. He's just very selfish, right? Like, he doesn't do anything. 135 points, like, he's just buffing himself. So he's not really like wow, but I think Vradhez is really good.
Vradhez is good. He's really nice. Definitely consider printing him off, painting him up, and bringing him with your army. All right. Well, there we go. We've spoken a little bit throughout this Alien Hives review over obviously lots of the strengths, but now we're going to show you where we think the strength lies, which is when you put all of these wonderful assets together in a couple of army lists. Let's go into it. Here we are in the list building screen. Harvey and I very nearly in the quick quick break. What am I even trying to say? It's late, folks.
In the quick break.
In the quick break. In the quick break between. In the quick break. We very nearly actually had a whole conversation about the way we want to do our lists, and I was thinking, no, it's far more important that we actually have this conversation where you can see. So, usual sort of situation here. We're going to do one well-rounded list, one a bit more thematic, kind of skewy list. Harvey's not brought one in particular today, but we'll talk you through an idea we've got. Well-rounded list first. So this is 2,000 points. If you're going to an event, you want to be a bit of an all-comer list. Where are we going to go? Now, we talked about this. I think we're just skipping the heroes to start.
I'm just kind of surprised you said that. I really thought we were going to trade blows. I thought you were going to take a Hive Lord, I was going to take a Snatcher Lord with some Snatchers, and then we were going to build from there. But I'm very happy to skip the heroes, absolutely.
I was going to go for the Snatchers. I'm up for pussing in. Well, shall we, let's do this the way we spoke about it, right? Shall we start with a Snatcher Lord and a Hive Lord? Yeah. And put pheromones on the Hive Lord? Now,
sure.
I would push for the slashing blades, but do we want the serrated blades? Are we going to get... Here's my challenge, right, on the serrated blades. Are we going to get another pheromones in the list? Because if we don't... I don't
think so.
I don't think the serrated blades is really as good as we want it to be.
No, I think you probably need flying to really get the serrated blades up and running. And I think slashing blades is a nice compromise.
Lovely. Let's go for the slashing blades then. And so because we put in the Snatcher Lord, which we like, we can bumble on down here and get a unit of Soul Snatchers. So we'll just join it in now.
One thing I'll say at this point is, if we were using narrative heroes, I'd put the narrative hero in instead.
Yes, I'd be with you on that one.
Yeah, and we could... If you weren't using narrative heroes, you could potentially do cast up one here. We'll see where this list ends up, but yeah, there's a bit of flexibility there. I think the narrative hero is really good, though.
I think so too. Are we going to give the Snatchers a Mind Snatcher? I think we leave it for now, and if we're fishing for upgrades, we'll go for it. Into the core units, I'm going to go for my favourite here. I think, can we have a unit of Winged Grunts?
Yep, I think that's good.
Let's have that. Let's have this Bio Flamer, and let's give it just this such beautiful effect there. Adrenaline for no retreat. We're in a great spot already with this list. As we go through the units, where do you want to go next? And I think I do know the answer.
Okay, I mean, I know you're hovering over support grunts here, and I do want support grunts because I think they're really good. I'd like to see some beasts before we start putting support grunts.
Okay.
I think Beast Gang needs to be unfolded. I think we can skip the Ravenous Beasts because I think they're less exciting, and I think instead we can go for... I really do like the Venom Beasts. I'm a big Venom Beast fan, and I'm a Flamer Beast fan.
Yeah, Flamer Beast, that's what I want. That's what I was after. I mean, I'm definitely in for the Venom Beasts. They've shown their worth
Poison
to me.
Mist.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. We give them Poison Mist. Thinking about it from a stats perspective, right? This unit smashes Balval to pieces. On a tough 3, any one model should be able to output 133%, which it does already with its attacks. Every activation, it can suddenly deal an extra 12 hits. It's like Caster in that regard, and is very, very good. So Venom Beasts, well done. Flame Beast, so good.
Very well kitted here against everything that doesn't have high armor now. So I think we need some AP. We have basically 700 points now to spend on some real quality AP. Now we have a Hive Lord who has pheromones, which I like. So I think we need something to shove with the pheromones. So I'm tempted to bring in a big boy Carnivo-Rex and give him some AP. That'd be a nice split, and we could even then revisit the Hive Lord and maybe give him AP as well later. But that would bring us up to 6 units, and we'd still have quite a fair amount of points to spend on some more grunts, because I think we can probably fit in some assault grunts here as well.
Okay.
And then I think I'd feel relatively comfortable about where this list was at.
All right. Well, let's get
with that kind of style.
That then. Yeah. So let's give this guy his 3, not 4, serrated claws. Yep. He's got that 1 ghost claw. And so yes, as Harvey said, that's 6 units now. So let's make sure we can get up to that really important break point of that 7th unit. And we're going to do it with the Assault Grunts. We've spoken a lot about Furious. I'm going to just click in the no retreat because we know that's what we want. Yep. We've spoken a bit about the Furious. I've taken it and I've liked it, and I've not taken it and I've liked it. It does, I think maybe the Furious makes me want to charge them a lot more. And they can do it because they
that's
are
fair.
fast and Strider. Do you always want to charge them? I don't know. We're at 1790 points. Should we go and visit another unit and then decide?
Yeah, I think if we were going Furious, we'd also go AP on them.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're indexing into it, I think you want to index into it fully, right? You don't want to just spend a few points on aggression, right? You might as well go AP and Furious, but I
Yeah.
don't think we actually need that here. I think I'd rather see that from other parts of the army.
All right. So this last 200 points, I think, is really hard to do.
Yeah.
You could. I don't know. You can get you get so many things in, but then there are the ones I think I'd want, like thinking about that aircraft again. Where is he? The Rapacious Beast, but it's just not enough to get it with the Spores spawn.
I think what I would like to see here, which I think would round the list quite nicely, is if we took the cheapest hero and put it in some swarms.
Yeah, okay.
So took a veteran warrior, put it in swarms, and gave it pheromones.
I'm up for this. I like this strategy. It's something we didn't really talk about, but it is one of the value of swarms when they've got that morale mitigation, is taking a hero with an effect that you want protected, and kaboom, he's got an extra 9 wounds. 9 at def 6, but still 9 wounds.
His quality obviously gives them morale, and they've all got fearless anyway, so that all works quite nice together. You do lose out on Strider slightly, but one of the quirks of Strider is that unit can ignore it. So actually, if you charged with the swarms and if they towed into thing, you could actually still get into range for melee with them. But how often that comes up, probably never. But it's an interesting little observation.
Conversely,
so now we've got
thinking about the difficult terrain rules. If you charged your veteran warrior through the difficult terrain, you're causing yourself a few more issues there. Put your Strider units through the difficult terrain. Try and get the veteran warrior around the side.
Yeah. So I think we've got a couple of options here. We can either now go like twin spine guns and spines on the swarms to make that unit be able to do something. So that'll be 35 more points to get a little bit of a range profile going on there. Now that would then mean we'd only have 20 points remaining. So it's that, or we just instead take that off and go Hive Lord AP. Because I think now we've got the extra pheromones, the Hive Lord's in a really good position.
I
where
agree.
It's now suddenly threatening a much bigger range.
You've got the Hive Lord Carnivo-Rex kind of buddy system going on here. I think I'm a bit more on that hype train. If I just for now keep this as this, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we can't quite make it.
We don't need to do them all. It's fine to do. So now if we put that one slashing blade back, and then we can go 10 points on the. On the Hive Warrior, right?
10
that'll
points.
Work as well.
Are we going to give them the 12-inch or the 18-inch gun?
What would actually be nice is if we had. No, actually, maybe not. I don't know. That's a really tough question. I mean, any of those guns do fine.
There is also
Maybe there's 10 points elsewhere.
There's also not giving it the slashing blade, just letting it be 7 attacks AP1, 9 attacks AP4, and then we give the Mind Snatcher to the Soul Snatchers.
Yeah, one of the nice things about that is it lets it reliably cast, on a 3-up, cast the 2 hits of 4s, which is quite a nice thing for like the YOLO play, where you want to get as much impact as possible. It also just ramps up the threat of that unit quite a lot.
Yeah, it does. I think let's do that.
Yeah, I think this is nice. I think this is a nice little rounded list we've got here. I think Carnivo-Rex plus Hive Lord is a nice core for having enough punch. The double pheromones is really nice. Then we've got some grunts, we've got some Hive Swarm stuff, and then obviously we've got a nice little contingent of beasts, which is essential in any Alien Hives. There's at least sets of beasts, single ones.
Very nice. Well, good. There we go. There is a nice rounded Alien Hives list for you. For those of you at home thinking, that's very boring, how dare you give me something that deals with too many things, we're going to move on to something a bit spicier right now.
Yep.
So we're here, ready to do something a bit more fun for you, just outside of the kind of all-comers strategic list. Let's have a play with something a little bit more fun. Where are we going to start?
So I think if we're I think we want to go big and stompy. I think that's the
Big
direction.
Stompy.
Yeah, I think big stompy is correct. I think big stompy means lots of pheromones and
Yeah.
Carnivo-Rexes and probably a Hive Lord in there as well.
Good. Let's start with 2 Carnivo-Rexes and Hive
Yes,
Lord.
I agree. I think we should just straight up slam 2 Carnivo-Rexes in. I think that's a good play.
Excellent. We'll give
No,
pheromones.
I think we just go straight to the AP4 on them because I think they're
Ooh.
just they want a slice of that, and I think we're happy to give it to them.
Very nice. All right, I'm happy doing this. 3 units, 1100 points before we've even upgraded the Hive Lord's weapons.
Yeah, so I mean, the Hive Lord probably can go AP4, but I think we should hold back on those just because we can always come back to them. So then if we're going like this, like super, like get in their face list, I think like we probably, I think we literally just want Veteran Warriors with pheromones in Hive Swarms. Yeah, I think we do. And we take this and we just run with this idea, and to be honest, I think we just triple them up. And we just get 3 of those guys, and I think we just say like, okay, round 1, I can just really give you a go. I can just go.
4 pheromone
triple means
dudes.
Yeah, so 4 pheromones is going to give you like mad mobility. You're going to be able to really push up the board early on, and you don't have to, right? You can play slower if you want. You can go for a round 2 go when most of your stuff can get in instead. But it gives you kind of a surprising mobility out of this.
Really does.
Now, I mean, so
can I?
We could.
Yeah, sorry. Go on. I've got a pitch, but go on. What were you going to say?
Okay, so a sensible person here would start putting in some assault grunt, because you want some objective players. Now, you do already have 3 veteran warriors with Hive Swords, but they need to be relatively close to be able to use pheromones. But if you were throwing caution to the wind, you could just get another Hive Lord or another Carnivo-Rex at this point. You have a point for it. You can just go even bigger and even stompier.
The only problem with another Hive Lord is that we're already at 4 heroes. So we can't have another.
Oh, you're right. So yeah, so it would have to be another Carnivo-Rex then, yeah.
It'd have to be another Carnivo-Rex. Which I'm up for here. And then we can go into this and we can give this guy his 4 serrated blades. And we're feeling fantastic. And then
5 points, 1 for each of our veteran warriors.
Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to make it that far.
I mean, there's a good chance they make it a reasonable distance.
So here's an idea for you. We splinter off one of the veteran warriors. We give this Hive Swarm ambush, and we give one of the veteran warriors, maybe not the one who's on his bill, give him a blast 3 gun. And see if you can pop some morale checks on some units as the game goes on.
I don't know if I like that, you know. I think it's fine. Like I do agree that you can splinter off pheromones, things like that, and use them in that way. But I think I'd rather just put the range gun on the lone veteran warrior.
On the lone one, okay.
Yeah.
Which one are we going for? We happy with the
splitter gun even?
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think if you're using this guy on his own, like the Hive Swarms, they need to be playing objectives, so they don't want to be slowing down.
Yeah.
They also need to be relatively close, right? So, but this guy, if he's not doing this, then he can be at the back and do that.
He can. He's your guy for that one.
Yeah, this is obviously a much sillier list.
I love it. I absolutely love it. 3 Carnivo-Rexes.
I know that is a lot of meat to move through, isn't it? Really. The other option we had here was, instead of bringing the extra Hive Swarm, is bring Caster on the Hive Lord, and then that gives you regen on the Carnivo-Rexes.
Also, I was thinking instead of the 3rd Carnivo-Rex, I was wondering if we were in a position to bring the Psycho-Rex or the or just a Caster Tyrant, whatever that thing's called. The Synapse Tyrant and a unit of Synapse Beasts. And then we've got something at the core, maybe you give it Regenerator as well, where you're throwing out the regeneration buff on like a 2-up spell every turn, and then you throw out a Regenerator on top of it. And then you've also got...
We'd have to lose the pheromones for that, though, because
we would have to lose the pheromones for it, wouldn't we?
Yeah. So actually, no, if we brought a Psycho-Rex, that can also bring pheromones.
Yeah, that is a fair point.
So we could do that instead. Let's mess with that. Let's remove
to take this down.
remove one of the Veteran Warriors, I think, and remove a Carnivo.
Which
put
we've
in
done.
Put in Psycho-Rex.
And
a little bit over.
It's fine because we're just back into this. Join it to the Hive Swarm, and then we need to take ambush off of that Hive Swarm.
Oh
no!
Go into. Let's have a look. What's the Psycho-Rex rocking at the moment? Because actually, this thing doesn't have pheromones. This build, so I think we remove a Hive Swarm.
I think we just kill a swarm altogether.
Yeah, so we go back to have a veteran on its own. I'm not sure. Actually, we don't even need that veteran warrior because we've got another instance of pheromones now. So I think we kill him because we don't actually need 4, 5 pheromones. Like that is taking the piss. So I think so this I think that we want to kit out this guy.
We give this guy pheromones. Here's one for you because he's caster 3. Here's where we bring a unit of Psycho-Grunts.
Yeah, just a little buffing guys. That's nice. That's a nice little extra unit to have kicking around.
And then we've 45 points.
What's the Hive Lord got?
Nothing currently.
How much is caster on the Hive Lord? That's 60 points.
55 points. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's too much.
Ooh. How about Regenerator? I don't think that's a bad thing to have.
Yeah, I think if we hand him a Regenerator and then 25 points left.
Some claws back on the Hive Lord. We could actually do that instead as well. We could do double serrated blades.
Yeah, double serrated blades.
If we got rid of the Regenerator.
I think we did. Here's my pitch. The Veteran Warrior comes out and goes into the Psycho-Grunts, and the Hive Swarm gets ambush, which means that this as well.
I like that. Yeah,
this is
a very efficient first turn.
Exactly. This is a secret buff as well because this now makes this gives the Veteran Warrior 5 resistance points. He makes them quality 4 up for morale. And if your opponent's really skillful, they'll kill exactly 4 Psycho-Grunts. Oh no, it has to be 5. He needs to have the most models with Fearless. Ignore that. But still, you've got the single activation here of a pheromones and a spell buff. So you push a Carnivo-Rex up. Next turn, you activate your Psycho-Rex, push the Carnivo-Rex or the Hive Tyrant even further up. Throw out some regeneration buffs. Throw out Regenerator. Everything's going quite well, and then kaboom. We've got a stompy, Rexy, Hive Lordy time, which has also got 4 instances of pheromones.
Yeah, so things are moving on the board. They are
schmoving. It's great fun. They are scooching, they are skedaddling, and they're having a good time.
They are.
Brilliant. Oh, that was a long old video, folks. Thank you very much for watching. If you've made it to the end, please do give us your claws up down below the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop us a comment, join us on Discord, all the lovely things. For now, I've been Dave. He's been Harvey. This is Don't Think Just Charge, and thank you very much for watching. Harvey's waving, by the way, if you can't see him.
You Beast Gang or Spore Gang? Or something like that, you know? Just for our common engagement.
I'm just going to put this whole clip. I started recording way too late. Psst, if you're still here, are you Spore Gang or are you Beast Gang?
Are you Beast Gang?
Let us know in the comments down below.